277-6868.
Spring fire season is here, and you are the best defense against wildfires. Make sure to have a water hose, bucket, steel rake, and a shovel for tossing dirt on the fire. Keep your phone with you in case you need help, and never leave a fire unattended. Learn more at ncforestservice.gov.
From the Ingalls Studios, this is ESPN Asheville, WPEK, W225CJ Fairview, WMXF Waynesville, and iHeart radio station.
The pounding begins. The wagons are circled. Every wind is raidered. It's football time in America, and this republic has never been stronger. The Sportsocracy, Beer City's best sports talk, live from the Ingalls studio.
It is ESPN Asheville, 92.9 FM, 880 AM, and 1400. The Sportsocracy, heard everywhere on the iHeart Radio app, seen everywhere on YouTube. Go to thesportsocracy.com, click the live video link, subscribe to the channel so you can join us in the chat. It is a Wednesday afternoon.
It's day two for me.
Day two.
Yeah, day two.
Of just trying to cope with your sadness.
Post Aaron, PA.
Oh, and again, it lasted all of 4 plays, and you're already so attached to it.
Well,
we spent all off season long just pumping yourself up, and then gone.
That's Jet fandom in a nutshell, boys and girls.
Yep.
But I do feel like yesterday, Aaron Rodgers really gave somebody a pass.
Oh, yeah. He dominated the news cycle.
And that somebody is Josh Allen.
Josh Allen, it's time for your comeuppance on today's program. There were several performances this past weekend that just kind of got glossed over because of the hullabaloo around Aaron Rodgers getting hurt, and we haven't really dove head first into some of those performances. So, yeah, we'll talk about Josh Allen. I think Jalen Hurts' name is one that's come up over all of this as well. Dak Prescott is another one. We'll get into all of your favorite segments today on the program. We've got a turf war going on in the NFL, or continuing because of the fallout from the Aaron Rodgers Achilles tear. It's all coming your way over the next 3 hours here on ESPN Asheville. Josh Allen, why doesn't he get, or does he get, the criticisms that his play sometimes deserves?
Well, yesterday it was because we had bigger things to talk about. Now today we can really dive into this and go, the last 2 times that I've seen Josh Allen, he's been genuinely horror awful. Cincinnati was bad. Mm-hmm. Monday night was worse. You lost because of Josh Allen.
Yep.
If you'd had really any other quarterback, that doesn't happen. Because 2 of those interceptions were disasters. One of them was a throw into double coverage that I don't know what exactly you saw, but it was a terrible read. Jordan Whitehead undercut the last one. I can forgive you for that one. You probably didn't think he could do that. I didn't think he could do that. But you've got a problem if you're the Buffalo Bills. And that problem for me is pretty basic. You do 2 things really, really well. You Josh Allen well when he's not turning the ball over, mm-hmm. and you Stephon Diggs well.
Mm-hmm.
End of message, repeat the line. You're putting a lot on those 2 guys because there's nothing else I feel hunky-dunky about. Do you?
No.
Do you look at that defense and go, that's good enough to carry you through games against good teams?
I mean, it's fine. And if you have
annihilated
great
by the
games,
Jets run game.
If you have great games, then sure, you can win those big ones. But the problem is this team, and it all cues from the quarterback, right? I mean, this is what we've been sold all these years, is that the quarterback position is the most important position in all of sports, and it's the tone setter, and it's the field general, and all the things. Well, if your quarterback's out there giving the ball away, giving 4 free possessions to the opposing team, that kind of reflects on everybody else, doesn't it? Well, I mean, in some cases, it can make your defense, hunker down even more because they know they got to come up with the big play. But if he's out there screwing around, then I'm probably not going to play as well.
Well, he's become guns. He's always been a bit of a gunslinger.
Absolutely.
Now he's like Brett Favre level.
He's the risk taker.
He's also really passive with the ball. He just hangs the ball out there like a loaf of bread.
Mm-hmm.
On the fumble, yes, he bobbled the snap. The Jets ripped it away from him. And they had been doing it the entire game. And where I'm at with Buffalo, I know Asheville Police Chief David Zack has really gristled at this, that the Super Bowl window has closed. I don't know that that's as untoward of a proposition as people want to make it out to be. Where does Josh Allen fit among quarterbacks in the AFC right now? Is he better than Joe Burrow?
No.
Is he better than Pat Mahomes?
No.
Is he better than Tua Tagovailoa?
No.
You see how you did that?
Yeah.
Tua's on the field and upright. Which quarterback would you prefer?
Tua's on the rise. Josh is on the decline. Or actually,
I don't know
he's not on the
decline. He's just not getting any better.
Well,
he's still doing those things that you expect a first, second,
Yes.
third-year quarterback to
Yes.
do. You're not that anymore.
He's stagnated. Even though he can put up MVP-type numbers, it's still the turnovers that are massive. Now, he can make up for them in one throw, which is what that's what I think gives him the pass. Is that we all look at Josh Allen and we go, oh, he made he made these four turnovers, and it's not 4 turnovers a game, but his worst games are 4 to 5 turnovers. But he makes these plays, and then he'll make amazing plays like this week. Whoever they're playing this week when they come
Las
out,
Vegas Raiders,
there you go,
in Buffalo.
He'll just absolutely destroy them, and we'll all go, oh, there's the Josh Allen. That's the guy.
All right, so I'm going to draw a parallel based on what you just said.
Okay.
So what you're telling me is that Josh Allen's good is fantastic,
Mm-hmm.
and his bad will beat you.
Yes.
So he's Phillip Rivers. Never thought of that, have you?
No, I haven't.
That's exactly who he started to remind me of.
Pretty apt. I like it.
And just think about how much talent you had around Phillip Rivers. You had LaDainian Tomlinson. You had a defense at one point that was really, really good.
Mm-hmm.
Never won anything. You know why? Because you always had this innate ability at the worst time humanly possible to make the big mistake.
Yep.
And that's kind of where I'm at with Josh Allen now. Yes, you've got a cannon for an arm. We had issues with your accuracy coming out. We had issues with your turnovers coming out. It's not getting any better.
No. I mean, it did get
And
better.
now the thing is, now you've been paid. So now Josh Allen is making big boy legit money. And when you take that against the cap and what that means, just look down that too deep for the Buffalo Bills and tell me what scares you. Gabriel Davis. I mean, he's a fine second receiver in the NFL, I think.
Still waiting for him to take his step
I
forward.
think he's better than he shows a lot of the time.
Mm-hmm.
Running backs. I could argue that's the worst group in the NFL. I could make that argument. I'm not saying I believe that. I'm just saying I could make the argument and be legit about it.
You'd be in the ballpark.
Offensive line. None of that worries me.
No.
I mean, I like Osiris Torrance. I think he's got a nice upside. 8 tackles for loss, 5 sacks against the Jets. I get that's one of the best defenses in the league. It was also one of the best defenses in the league who just lost their quarterback and looked like a little kid whose balloon was floating away. And they still did that to you.
Mm-hmm.
And now let's be real honest about that defense. Yeah, you didn't allow Zach Wilson to beat you. That's not really saying much. Who's the player on the defense that you go, oh my God, we have to game plan against that?
Tre'Davious White's the closest one. Maybe Von Miller when he's healthy, but
Von
he's not
Miller
healthy.
Von Miller would have been my answer. Von Miller would have been my answer. I think Leonard Floyd is in the ballpark, but he's not. He's a great stat accumulator, and yes, he is the one that got Aaron Rodgers, and I just don't think he is a top 10 to 15 pass rusher in this league.
He's not.
And so now I'm looking up and down with the Buffalo Bills. How many corners in the NFL were worse than Tre'Davious White in week 1?
3.
7.
Oh.
He was 85th of 92 qualifying corners. Nobody else on the defense was even in the top 50 other than Christian Bedford, who they never challenged because they didn't have to. He was on Lazard. Zach Wilson was not trying to force things into Alan Lazard. Greg Rousseau, Matt Milano had 2 huge plays, and Micah Hyde. Other than that, the rest of the defense was a disaster against the Jets with no Aaron Rodgers. So what I'm looking at with Josh Allen is now I know that you're in that 5, 6, 7, 8 ballpark. Are you ever going to get better than that? And I'm not sure that he is. And if he doesn't, the championship window's closed.
Right.
You're not good enough around this team.
Right.
The Dolphins right now, I think, have markedly more talent than you do.
Remember when we were talking about Josh Allen making the step forward? Remember, he came out first year incredibly inaccurate. Second year he comes out, I think it was a shade better, but not much. And it was, this guy's going to be in the bust category if he doesn't take the third-year step. Third year comes, he gets Stephon Diggs, he takes the step, right? His completion percentage goes up. The turnovers didn't really change all that much, though. And now you've seen him stagnate. He still plays at a high level most of the time, but the turnovers don't really dissipate. In the last 19 games that he's been on the field, do you know how many turnovers he's committed in 19 games?
I can take an educated guess.
Just
at it.
Shot in the dark. What do you think that number's at?
20?
You are so far off.
No.
Keep it going.
Oh, because he had 2 fumbles. Oh.
This is
30?
total turnovers.
Is it 30?
No, sir. It's 39. He
Good
has
Lord.
almost 2 turnovers per game in the last 19 games. That is bad. That is stuff that we laugh at the New York Giants for giving $40 million to Daniel Jones because he averages 2 turnovers a game. But it's because of the high side of Josh Allen that he doesn't get that.
Well, the thing that nobody wants to talk about with the Bills, name me the thing that Josh Allen's better at right now than he was 2 years ago. Completion percentage, down 6%.
Mm-hmm.
Sack rate, up 1.5%. Turnovers, up.
Yep.
Yardage, down. Touchdowns, down. Interceptions, up. And we just don't talk about it. He finished third in AP voting last year. I'm not saying he's not great. He's just not getting better. And I've seen what you can do as currently constituted. You will finish 3rd, 4th, or 5th in the AFC.
Yep.
Total.
Yep.
Because you're going to get beat by Pat Mahomes virtually every time you play him. You're going to get beat by Joe Burrow virtually every time you play him.
And you might have that one. You might have that one year.
You might get lucky once, but guess what? All right, you get lucky and beat Pat Mahomes. Oh, okay, now you got to go beat Joe Burrow.
Yep.
And I'm just not sure he can do it.
I don't know that he can either. You can be one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time and have a bunch of turnovers. We talk about Brett Favre all the time.
But, I mean, let's be real honest about Brett Favre. He won 1 Super Bowl.
That's what I'm saying. You might be able to get it once.
I don't know that you can get it once. Brett got very lucky that he was on the tail end of the Marinos and the Kellys and the Troy Aikmans and the Steve Youngs. You came in with these guys. You and Pat, same age.
Yep.
Lamar, year younger than you. Joe, 3 years younger than you. You're not going to age out and catch that sweet little spot where you're the best quarterback in the league.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm getting to the point, I've thought this all offseason long of, man, there's been a lot of improvements in the AFC, and the Buffalo Bills look like they just put a fresh coat of paint on this and are trying to lacquer up and do it again. And I'm looking down the schedule. Yeah, you get the Raiders and the Commanders. There's probably 2 wins. Then, in order, you go Dolphins, Jaguars, Giants, Patriots, Bucks, Bengals, Broncos, Jets, Eagles, Chiefs, Cowboys, Chargers, Patriots, Dolphins. Do you know how many of those teams were in the top 10 yesterday?
How many?
When we did power rankings yesterday, Miami Dolphins were 5, Dallas Cowboys were 1, Chiefs were 4, Eagles were 2, Jets were 10, Bengals were 9,
Mm-hmm.
Jaguars were 6, Dolphins were 5. Awesome. So now I've got a quarterback that's really good, but not great. I got a defense that's really good, but not great. That's not a championship window to me.
No.
And nobody wants to talk about it because he's this really likable guy with a charitable foundation, and he's electric to watch play. Think back and be really honest with yourself. Over the last 3 years, how many times have you watched the Buffalo Bills game and gone, if it hadn't been for Josh Allen, they would have won?
It's been a couple.
Because Monday was my 7th.
Wow.
And that's a significant amount for a quarterback that's supposedly that good.
Yes. You're in the Sportsocracy. This is ESPN Asheville. Josh Allen. Why does he get the pass that no other quarterback gets? Doesn't seem that they get, we're hard on everyone. But is it just because Josh Allen is that lovable little blue-collar quarterback?
I think it has
from the
something to
small
do with
school
the team.
and
I think it helps that
maybe.
he's with the Bills. The Buffalo
He's a
Bills are
lovable loser.
nobody's biggest rival.
yeah.
Even though you've won the division a couple times, nobody looks at you and goes, "Oh, I mean, I'll be honest with you. I'm a Jets fan. I don't look at the Bills the same way I do the Patriots. I want to beat the Patriots' brains out. I want to beat the Dolphins' brains out. Bills, yeah, I like winning. I have no animus towards you. It's not like I come into this just with a burning hatred for the Buffalo Bills. Yeah, you've got me for a few years.
Yeah.
Other than that, largely irrelevant. But it's just funny to me. Last year, Josh Allen finished tied for third most interceptions in the league. You know who he's tied with? Derek Carr and Kirk Cousins. 2 in front of him, Dak Prescott, Davis Mills. We talk about every one of those guys in a specific way.
Right.
We don't talk about Josh Allen that way, and I think it's to the point that we have to.
I would agree. And the next time they come up to play the New York Jets, just don't take the Buffalo Bills because Josh Allen, he doesn't like it too much.
No.
Last 3 games with the Jets have not gone his way at all. A number of turnovers in those games as well. You're in the Sportsocracy. This is CSPN Asheville.
The season we've all been waiting for is here. No, not that one. The season of the Big Orange Tent is underway in western North Carolina. The area's largest selection of Halloween costumes, decorations, and accessories is at the Big Orange Tent at the Asheville Mall. Halloween Express is your one-stop shop for adult and child costumes, superheroes, horror icons, inflatable suits. You can find it all under the Big Orange Tent at the Asheville Mall. 10 to 8 Monday through Saturday, 12 to 6 on Sundays.
At Ingles, we're proud to sponsor area athletics at all levels, whether we're building new fields for T-ball, celebrating Friday night rivals, televising college basketball games, bringing the Fan Fest to semi-pro soccer, or taking you out to the ball game at your minor league park. We're here for the fans. No one gets the dedication to the home team like you guys, and we've got all the sports you can handle. It's all in the bag. Ingles, low prices, love the savings.
If cleanliness is next to godliness, look around the car right now. Is that very godly? Look, life comes at you fast, but so does WNC Auto Detailing. They have the tools to make your interior look like it's coming off the showroom floor. You don't believe me? Check them out on Instagram. All that filth and years of stains disappear. WNC Auto Detailing does full interior and exterior details with paint correction, and they do wax and ceramic coatings. Call WNC Auto Detailing at 455-3700. Premium care with a Southern hospitality touch.
Tired of getting dinged by monthly fees on your checking account? You need Simple Checking from Home Trust Bank. With Simple Checking, you get all the essential checking services for free, including 100% online access and a free Visa debit card. It's everything you need from a checking account, but no hoops, no surprises, no monthly fees. Stop by today or call 800-627-1632. Simple Checking at Home Trust. Ready for what's next. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Hi, I'm Kyle at Blindster.com. If you're like many people, you may think custom blinds is a job for expensive professionals. Well, at Blindster, if you have a tape measure and a screwdriver, you can install our custom blinds and save big. And right now, save 50% off any order during our Labor Day sale. Blindster.com.
Hey there, it's Craig Melvin from The Today Show. Coming up this week, the Today team takes you inside the first Sunday night game of the NFL season. Plus, Carrie Underwood performs live. Join us every morning on NBC because every day needs today.
My partners had told me I should get my knee replaced. I was in my 40s, and I decided that I wouldn't do that.
That's orthopedic surgeon Dr. John Herzog, who found regenerative medicine years ago and became a believer.
It changed my life around. It improved me to a point where I was able to jog again.
That's when Dr. Herzog switched his focus from surgery to helping his patients with natural biologics.
I've treated at least 5,000 patients. I believe your body has everything it needs to heal itself.
Today, you'll find Dr. Herzog at QC Kinetics, the nation's leader in this exciting field of medicine that can give lasting pain relief with no downtime, no drugs, and no surgery.
I have patients coming up to me that I did 10 years ago saying, you know, Doc, my elbow's still working great. I'm playing tennis 3 days a week.
Call QC Kinetics now to explore alternative ways to deal with your pain. It's a free consultation.
Call QC Kinetics, 828-333-9517. That's 828-333-9517. 828-333-9517.
The Sportsocracy.
You two are just dumber than a bag of hammers.
And we are live at the Ingles studio on ESPN Asheville. Josh Allen, I love. Have you seen this? There's some conspiring or wondering whether or not he had a concussion in the game.
Well, he did get hit in the head a whole mess of times.
He did. There were two plays specifically where he went head first onto the turf, and another one where he got his head bent sideways against somebody's knee. And then that was, of course, that went into the thoughts of, oh, well, maybe he's just doesn't know where he is. Excuses all over the place. At some point, you can't blame anybody else but yourself. I'm not saying that he is. I'm basically aiming that at Buffalo Bills fans. Derrick Henry. Jeremy's been on this kick for the last, much like the Tom Brady thing. You know, it's been 5 years in the making of Derrick Henry's going to fall off the cliff. He's hitting that mark. He's getting to the threshold of the 2,000 carries and 27 years old and all that kind of stuff. Well, there's an interesting stat that came out of the Tennessee-New Orleans game this past week. The rookie who doesn't have a knee, right? Tajae Spears outsnapped him.
Which is bizarre. That's hard for me to wrap my brain around because this game was close. And Derrick Henry was, in large part, good.
Mm-hmm. Derrick Henry had 30 snaps. Tajae Spears went 34 in the game. In fact, in the second half, Derrick Henry only touched the ball, I believe it was 6 times.
That's correct.
2 in the third quarter and then 4 in the fourth quarter. Now, Mike Vrabel on Monday, talking to the press, said that you're probably not going to see that again.
But why do we see it the first time?
And that's what I'm trying to figure out. How did you get yourself into that position?
Wildly stupid.
Right.
We're trying to get everybody involved.
Yeah,
that's not what I asked you.
We're trying to find a rhythm here. Without Derrick Henry, who's been the only rhythm that you have.
That's let me equate that to what I heard when he said that. That'd be like, I'm trying to figure out how to drive the car. Well, you have to get in it, stupid. It's real hard to drive it when you're not in it.
Right.
And that's with that Tennessee Titans offense, step one, get Derrick Henry the ball early and often.
Mm-hmm.
Now, my question is, how exactly did this come about? Tajae Spears, look, I know they've talked about him the entire preseason and how good he has been and how much they believe in him. Something about that. This doesn't pass the smell test to me.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not saying there's something wrong with Derrick Henry per se. So let's walk through this. All right. You have a team here that doesn't have, we'll say they don't have a lot of really lofty expectations, right? The Tennessee Titans, we've talked about this. They play the Chargers this week at the Browns and the Colts. This is probably going to be an 0-4 football team.
Yes.
And from there, the season kind of goes careening off a cliff. So you're telling me this is a team that has a very low chance of making the playoffs. You have a super talented running back that's on the back nine. You played in a really competitive game, and you mitigated his touches. What does that sound like to you? Sounds like to me Derrick Henry may very well not be on this roster by the end of the year. It's the only explanation I have. I think Mike Vrabel is an incredibly smart coach and an incredibly good coach. If it wasn't for him, I would have said the Titans go 3-14 because this offense is horror-awful.
Mm-hmm.
But Derrick Henry was the one piece that I knew. That was pinned in. I didn't know exactly what to expect from DeAndre Hopkins. He was largely what I thought he would be. Traylon Burks was not very effective. Nick Westbrook-Akina was better than I thought he would be. And somehow Chig Okonkwo wasn't involved. But if you're telling me that you're trying to keep wear off Derrick Henry, for what reason? He's in the last year of his deal. I don't think he has much of a future in Tennessee because by the time Tennessee is relevant again in the AFC, he's going to not be in the AFC.
Right.
Or the NFL on the whole.
Mm-hmm.
As I would say, you're 2 years away from being a legit contender again. I mean, I think I'm actually being nicer there than I could be.
Right.
And now you're taking the ball out of his hand and you're trying to feed me this line of we want to get everybody involved. No. No, that doesn't pass the smell test to me.
How much do you think Derrick Henry's worth on the open market?
5th round pick.
He becomes free agent.
Oh.
His last year of his deal in Tennessee, he becomes a free agent next year. What's the deal he's going to get? Is anybody going to give him money?
1 year.
You think so? Somebody will sign him for a 1-year deal for how much?
8 to 10.
Really? Okay.
For 1 year.
Okay.
Maybe some incentive escalators in there. He's still an effective running back.
If he does this, though. I mean, if he has 60, 70-yard games all season long, nobody's giving him that money.
Well, I mean, he averaged, 4.5 yards a carry?
Something like that.
He was the 6th most effective running back in the NFL, according to PFF. So, I mean, yeah, he's not throwing up stat lines, which that sucks for your fantasy team. But in terms of talent evaluators, we still look at Derrick Henry and go, well, he hasn't fallen off the cliff yet. I don't know how, because he's gone over every threshold that usually leads to but he's still good.
Yeah. But we all know that, right? I mean, this is where I'm going with this. Maybe this is Mike Vrabel playing the long game. He looks at the running back market right now and goes, there are talented running backs that could be available. Nobody wants to pay them. Nobody wants to pay them. Nobody wants to give up draft capital for them. It's just a market that benefits me. So if I play this game with Derrick Henry all season long and I just kind of mitigate his touches and I save him for, I don't know, maybe we're planning on making a move next year or something. I can get him back for cheap next year.
Yeah, that's you're
maybe.
How do I say this delicately? If that's what Mike Vrabel's doing, he's not nearly the coach that I think he is.
Okay.
Because you had a chance to win that game. Let's not even talk about the fact you went down there and kicked a field goal with like 4 minutes left that I still in my brain trying to wrap around my how did you get there? You can't do that in this league. You can't worry about, if I limit his touches, he's going to be cheaper. Derrick Henry's going to be what he's going to be or he's not going to play. I also think then you run into why would I want to play for you? If you're going to limit my touches, why am I coming back here? You're not a Super Bowl contender. I mean, to me, that explanation makes zero sense.
Okay.
Makes more than anything I've thought about this so far. But it still doesn't make any sense. To me, we're playing the show that he can still do it. We get a draft pick around the trade deadline, and he comes in for a hammer with somebody in the double-digit weeks of this season. It's the only thing that makes any sense to me.
I don't know where that could be, though. I mean, injuries probably could dictate that.
There are a slew of teams that if it was cheap and I'm only having to pay him for half the year and then he's out of here at the end of the season, you could give up a conditional 5 or something for him to be a hammer for you in the playoff run.
Right.
I mean, the Philadelphia Eagles leaned on Kenny Gainwell, so
maybe
that's another one that makes my head hurt. But all right, you went and you traded for DeAndre Swift, you signed Rashad Penny, and your lead back was Kenny Gainwell. Okay, didn't see that one. Didn't have that one on my old bingo card.
I was gonna say maybe the thought also was we don't want to waste it all in week 1. We're still competitive in this game, and we don't need to use him because we still got a chance to win. Maybe I'm having a hard time wrapping my head around this as much as everybody else. Why Derrick Henry got 4 fewer touches than Tajae Spears in the game is baffling to me. And especially when the coach comes out and says, well, we tried to get him some run in the second half, but the plays we tried really didn't work. Well, that's not technically true. I mean, you ran it 3 times with him on first down in the fourth quarter and you got nowhere. So I could understand that. But in the third quarter alone, he opened up the third quarter with a 7-yard run and then didn't touch the ball again until there were 90 seconds left in the quarter. So none of that makes any sense to me.
No, it's coach speak.
Yes.
My question is why, and that's the part that doesn't.
Exactly.
I can't make it make sense to me. Unless you said play the long game, and I thought you were going to the same place that I was. Of maybe you know how bad this actually is.
Maybe.
Now, you were competitive with New Orleans, which I did not really expect. It was a low-scoring gross fest, which I completely expected. Tennessee's just one of those teams. The defense is good enough, but you have no quarterback, and the only offensive piece you have that worries me in any way is Derrick Henry.
Yeah.
We have our first super chat of the day.
Oh,
Yeah, we still haven't figured out what. There's a buzz with my buttons, which we can't
see,
figure
that's
out.
not good.
That's not. We don't like.
We
that.
don't like to hear that.
No, that's weird.
Yeah, we'll continue to use this one.
It's from Soaring Eagle. It said, there's also the stupidest thing you've ever seen on the internet, which he sent me overnight last night, that there was speak that the Jets should have an asterisk next to their win on Monday night because there was a missed trip on the punt return. If we start going down that path, every game would have an asterisk.
Yep.
That's the dumbest thing I've read today.
Yep.
And that's hard. I told him that may be the dumbest thing that's ever been put on the internet, and that's the highest of high bars.
The asterisk.
Yeah, if you want it, go to Twitter and search John Kennedy and thank me later. But don't play that at work.
I do not.
If you play that at work, you could get fired, and I already warned you. But you just close the door to your office and laugh for 3 solid minutes like I did.
And then you do that thing where everybody comes to the office, and then you can show them depending on who it is. If HR comes by, you go, nothing, we're good.
Yep, Tom Brady, break your phone. Boom! No, I know. I did nothing wrong. I was fine.
You got sound bites for days that you could never play on FCC Airways.
No, I wish we could. If we could, I'd be making a lot of jokes about it right now.
You're in the Sportsocracy, and this is ESPN Asheville, 92.9 FM, 880 AM, and 1400. When we come back, it'll be time to get just a bit outside.
This is your Exergen Temporal Scanner weather forecast on ESPN Asheville.
Changes in the air now as the front's going east, and we may even feel a little bit of a drop in the humidity this afternoon as we're going to get some sunshine to come in. High only near 80 degrees. Tonight, clouds will thicken up a bit. We'll get some patchy fog by morning, 56. Thursday, the cloud fog will give way to sunshine, very comfortable in the afternoon, 77. Low 50s Thursday night, many areas in the 40s. Friday, sunny, 78. From the Weather Channel, I'm Ray Stachik.
This report is sponsored by Blindster.com.
Hi, I'm Kyle at Blindster.com. If you're like many people, you may think custom blinds is a job for expensive professionals. Well, at Blindster, if you have a tape measure and a screwdriver, you can install our custom blinds and save big. And right now, save 50% off any order during our Labor Day sale. Blindster.com.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Hey there, it's Craig Melvin from the Today Show. It's back to everything season, and that means everything is happening right here on Today. Coming up this week, football is back, and our team will be taking you inside the first Sunday night game of the NFL season. Plus, country icon Carrie Underwood is live in concert on our plaza, and Martha Stewart and Matthew McConaughey will join us in studio. Join us every morning on NBC because every day needs Today.
Football's here. Switch to My Plan from Verizon and get NFL Sunday Ticket from YouTube and YouTube TV on us with eligible phone purchase and Unlimited Plus. Offer ends soon. Head to Verizon today. $449 value applies to NFL Sunday Ticket season 23-24 only. Additional terms and embargoes apply to NFL Sunday Ticket on YouTube. No refunds.
Rogue Combat Club, Asheville's home for comprehensive martial arts training, has a goal for our community, one that's stronger, more fit, and unwavers in its support of one another. Rogue Combat Club's instructors have competed at the highest levels and offer classes for everyone from young children to adults in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, Muay Thai, and wrestling. Rogue Combat Club classes can help you boost your self-confidence and self-defense skills while weeding out the egos and intimidation found at other gyms. Join today at RogueCombatClub.com. The best season of the year is here.
Tailgate season.
Monster Brewing presents this season's MVP,
The Beast Unleashed.
with 4 bold, familiar flavors.
With 0 caffeine and 0 sugar.
Beast Unleashed is your new pregame ritual.
With white haze, mean green, peach perfect, and scary berries, there's a flavor for every fan. The Beast Unleashed.
6% alcohol by volume. Unleashed responsibly. Must be 21 or over. Beast Unleashed available at your local retailer.
I believe real estate isn't about properties. It's about people. I'm Clarissa Hyatt-Zach with eXp Realty, serving all of Western North Carolina. Navigating the home buying and selling journey can feel overwhelming at times, and that's why having an agent who cares about you and your needs is key. I'm a native of Western North Carolina, and I close over a home a week. I'm an expert in the market, pricing my sellers correctly to net you the most money, and working as a skilled negotiator for my buyers. Please give me a call today at 828-774-6343 to set up a complimentary market analysis.
Boy, you must be outside your mind.
The Sportsocracy.
Just a bit outside. He tried the corner and missed.
It is the Sportsocracy, and this is ESPN Asheville. And we got a follow-up from a story that Jeremy told a few weeks back. You remember when Travis Kelce shot his shot with Taylor Swift?
Oh, I thought you were telling another story. I'll have to tell that one, too.
Travis Kelce shot his shot with Taylor Swift. He went backstage at her concert and tried to hand off to somebody a bracelet, a friendship bracelet with his number on it. And then they denied it. They didn't take it from him, and he got his feelings all hurt. Well, apparently the story that Jeremy and others around the sports media told, that got back to Taylor Swift at some point, I'm guessing. Because now the report has come out that they have been secretly hanging out for the last few weeks.
That's kid speak for
Netflixing and chill?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's kid speak for nefarious things.
We don't know that. They could just be going to get ice cream or something, like this is the 1950s.
I was about to say, what are they in a 1962 comedy? Bro, it's 2023. Come on. We know what the business is.
Travis Kelce had his agent call over to Taylor's agent and say, hey, my client would like to take you out for a malted milkshake at some point. How about them apples?
Tell me more.
Well, good for Travis Kelce. I mean, he shot his shot, and he might have got turned down immediately, but eventually.
One Baker Nathaniel Mayfield.
Okay.
So, had a pretty solid debut for your Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Yeah.
And now there is a story as to why. During an appearance on the Buccaneers radio network, Tampa Bay running back Rachaad White said that Baker came into the locker room at halftime and let everybody know what the Vikings' defensive signals were. Apparently, Minnesota was not real creative in their signaling, and Baker Mayfield figured it out.
He cracked the code.
We're in there talking as an offense, and he's like, I know all these signals. If they do this, they're going into cover 2. If they do this, they're going into cover 3. Every time I alert this and they do this signal, they're dropping back to this. Rachaad White said, wow, I'm like, this is amazing. Now, here's what I immediately thought. All right, so you're telling me that Baker Mayfield had access to the Ask Madden button where you hit the right trigger and you can see exactly what they're doing.
Yeah.
And that led to 21 of 34, 173 yards and 2 touchdowns. Woof. I'd have probably kept that one to myself. He knew exactly what they were doing. Oh, yeah, then why didn't he do more? Because he wasn't particularly good. I mean, he was fine.
He was okay.
He was fine, but if you know exactly what they're doing, I would have expected a little more.
Sure. You would expect that your, QBR might be a little higher or something. I don't know.
I have another outside story.
Who would have figured? Baker Mayfield, boy genius.
And this is an update to a story that you told.
Oh, okay.
It's about Jack's American Pub in Milwaukee, Wisconsin.
Yeah. Swing and a miss.
Maybe you remember that Tank told this story that they were offering free bar tabs to anyone that came in during a Jets game. If Rodgers started and the Jets lost, they'd pick up your tab.
Yep.
Well, not that big of a surprise that a lot of people showed up. The rule was you had to have your tab open 15 minutes before kickoff, and there were no other stipulations.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Aaron got hurt on the 4th play of the game. So I'm taking a victory lap in this because they cheered when Aaron got hurt, and that makes me want to go full Stone Cold Steve Austin, just, They started running their tabs up.
Yep.
And weird, what? How did that end? Oh, yeah. It was a big punt return for the Jets. I wish I could have been. I would have flown on my own dime to have been the bartender that had to accept all of those sad Packers that had taken their little victory lap.
100%.
Just pounding out shots of Fireball, and they just crawl up to the. I have to pay my bill now.
Because I'll be honest with you, if I'd have been in the crowd, I think I would have tried to drink 12 Bud Lights.
You wouldn't have to have paid because you'd have been dead.
but I mean, after Aaron Rodgers goes out, they're definitely losing this game.
Oh, yeah, as you decide to take a victory lap with Aaron Rodgers.
I'd have been calling my boss, like, I'm not going to be in tomorrow.
Oh, you tried to take a victory lap, and it cost you a lot of money.
It's karma.
That's exactly what I said.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I guess you shouldn't have cheered when he got hurt. And that's not all Packer fans. I got a lot of lovely notes over the last 2 days from Packers fans saying, we're really rooting for you. I also got a few from Packers fans that were nana boo-boo. And that's not a great call.
Never good.
Yeah. Because karma is not great.
We've started, or not started. I mean, we've been fighting this fight for a while in the NFL, but Monday Night Football and the Aaron Rodgers Achilles injury really kicked into high gear once again. The turf war in the NFL. Grass versus turf. Which one causes more injuries? I mean, to me, it depends on who you want to believe. Because there have been studies that have said either way, that there's no difference really between a turf and a grass field, or that, turf field, it might be a smidge more, but it's negligible.
Well, all of the scientific evidence points to that turf is worse. Now, turf is also cheaper in the long run,
mm-hmm.
and when you have these mixed-use stadiums like MetLife is, you can't really have concerts and things like that on a grass field. That's why we're here.
Mm-hmm.
And there's no doubt in my mind that's how we got here. You build this giant, colossal stadium. Luke Combs just played at it not that long ago. So what's the solution? I mean, I could tell you what the solution is, but you're not going to like it.
What is it?
It's to have two fields. You slide in a grass field for football games and soccer games and things like that. Somebody in the chat said, we're getting rid of all the grass for the World Cup. Yeah, you should probably send that to the NFL owners and go, why can we do it for this, but we can't do it in the NFL?
Yep.
Because this is dumb. I mean, even if it's not true, this is almost getting into like the Sasquatch world where there are so many people that believe this is true that you almost have to pander into it, whether it's true or not.
Well, and you would think that
there is some validity to it.
There's got to be validity to it, or else the international teams or the foreign teams, soccer teams that come over here to play, they wouldn't demand it. I remember this at Bank of America Stadium. We went through this last year, right? Wasn't it Inter Milan or somebody came here for the scrimmage game or whatever the hell they call their exhibition matchups, and they had to put real grass down on the field. Am I remembering that right? He's not listening to me.
No, I heard what you said. I'm trying to remember if that was...
They did that at Bank of America, though, right? I remember them bringing in grass for something. I think it was a soccer match. So.
I believe you're right. I don't remember what it was.
They are doing this for the World Cup. SoFi Stadium and a couple of other stadiums are on the list to host the World Cup games next year, and they'll be bringing in grass for those. There's got to be something to it. We do it because it's a cost-cutting move. There's not as much upkeep with a turf field as there is with an actual grass field. There's not as much wear and tear on it, so you don't have to replace the sod in the middle of a season or immediately after the season's over or whatever.
Well, and Stephen Tao said they make blocks that you can put on grass to protect it. Some places do that all the time. And you're not wrong in that. It's just if that goes wrong, you have Soldier Field a few years ago.
Yeah.
Where there's more grass in your shoes than there is on that field, and that is the worst thing you can do.
Right, and everybody complained about that. Remember?
Yes.
When it got real muddy at Soldier Field, everybody in the NFLPA got upset. Why are we still doing this when turf exists? You're damned if you do and you're damned if you don't. You're never going to convince everybody one way or the other. I mean, it's like American politics. There's got to be a middle ground here somewhere. And I honestly don't know. Obviously, I'm not a scientist. I haven't studied these things this much.
I mean, I haven't either. the NFLPA has put all of these things out, and they're calling for it to be all grass. At some point, you just have to go, even if it's not true, we have to satiate the players. I think it is true.
Mm-hmm.
And, do I think it had anything to do with Aaron Rodgers? No, I really don't. I mean, I've listened to several doctors that know way more about Achilles things than I do. You just got your foot caught up underneath you, put it in a bind, and it snapped.
Yeah.
It really has nothing to do with the field.
Yeah. Was it Adam Black said, look up Real Madrid's new field. It's insane. I'm watching a video of it right now. That is crazy. That is like some next level, like the field like breaks apart and like grass comes up out of the middle and then unfolds while the turf like goes back down under the field. Like there's a basement where it's like the basement of the Alamo. That's where we keep the grass and then we can bring it back up. Arizona does this, right? Arizona's got the grass field that rolls outside so it can get sunshine in the desert, and then they can roll it back in at game time in that god-awful barrel cactus-looking thing. The Bidwill family figured out how to make this work. I'm pretty sure every other stadium could figure it out as well. How could we make a natural grass field to satiate the Players Association? It can be done.
Oh, no doubt it can be done. It's just you've got people like Woody Johnson and the Mara family that are making boatloads of money from having Luke Combs and Taylor Swift, and that's not going to stop. Mm-hmm. So you're going to have to find some way to satiate both at the same time. What you just said sounds incredibly expensive.
It looks incredibly expensive. There's no way that's
But teams like the Jets, I don't think you have that problem. Money is – how about you get some of them baby powder dollars and let's get that fixed.
Yeah, in a place like New Jersey, when you have two teams in the stadium, you could afford that.
No doubt.
I mean, I get it for somebody like looking at Carolina. Like I could see where David Tepper might bucket that.
Yeah, he's the 6th richest owner in the NFL.
I'm just saying. I'm just saying, like a single owner, one stadium, I could see where you would have an impediment.
He may be the richest individual owner.
He could be, but he apparently had no problem bringing in the grass for the soccer match, so he can make it work. Every owner could probably make it work, except for
and now we just have
except for Mark Davis. Apparently, he's got a cash flow issue.
Yeah, if you make him replace the turf, you might end up with shag carpet. So be careful what you ask for.
You're in the Sportsocracy.
Just take one look at his haircut and realize that dude is not as flush as the rest of you are.
You're in the Sportsocracy. This is ESPN Asheville, 92.9 FM, 880 AM, and 1400.
At Ingles, we're proud to sponsor area athletics at all levels. Whether we're building new fields for T-ball, celebrating Friday night rivals, televising college basketball games, bringing the Fan Fest to semi-pro soccer, or taking you out to the ball game at your minor league park. We're here for the fans. No one gets the dedication to the home team like you guys. And we've got all the sports you can handle. It's all in the bag. Ingles. Low prices. Love the savings. At Ingles, whether we're celebrating Friday night rivals, televising college basketball games, bringing the Fan Fest to semi-pro soccer, or taking you out to the ball game at your minor league park, it's all in the bag. Ingles. Low prices. Love the savings.
Real estate isn't about properties, it's about people. I'm Clarissa Hyatt Zach with eXp Realty, your native realtor serving all of Western North Carolina. I will work hard for you, and I believe in doing the right thing every time. I market each of my listings to reach out-of-town buyers. I use a professional photographer and drone video on every single listing, as well as collaborate with agents across the country to find your buyer. Check me out online at clarissasellswnc.com or give me a call at 828-774-6343. It would be my pleasure to assist you through the real estate process.
Running a small business is no small task. At Home Trust Bank, we work hard to prepare businesses for whatever tomorrow may bring. Your dreams are our business, and we have local experts who can help you plan for a successful future. Dependable guidance you need, and service you'll appreciate. At Home Trust Bank, we take your small business banking personally. Visit your local Home Trust branch or anytime at htb.com. Member FDIC.
What makes Taco Bell's rolled chicken tacos so good? Is it the shredded, marinated, all-white meat chicken? Well, yeah, obviously. But it's also the 3 amazing dipping sauces to choose from. Spicy ranch, warm nacho cheese sauce, and house-made daily guacamole. Now, if you need a third reason, their white corn tortillas are fried to golden perfection, which everyone knows is the best kind of perfection. Order rolled chicken tacos on the Taco Bell app. Get 1 dip per 2-pack or 2 dips per 4-pack at participating Taco Bell stores for a limited time only while supplies last.
The countdown is on to our 2023 iHeartRadio Music Festival.
The most massive live music event of the year.
Friday and Saturday, September 22nd and 23rd at T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas.
Streaming live only on Hulu.
Brought to you by T-Mobile. Experience more of the music you love with the record-breaking 5G network. T-Mobile customers can unlock VIP benefits at the festival all weekend long. It's better over here. See why at T-Mobile.com/SEEWHY.
What do you think is going on?
Something has weaponized the seas against us.
Tuesdays on the CW.
I think we're looking at a new species.
From the producer of Game of Thrones, it's the new series The Swarm, based on the best-selling novel.
There have been other people infected. None of them survived.
What the hell is that?
The tide
We need help. I repeat, we need help now. No!
has turned.
We have a weapon, and we should use it.
The Swarm, Tuesdays and streaming free the next day on the CW.
Hi, I'm Kyle at Blindster.com. Since 2010, Blindster has sold millions of custom blinds, shades, and shutters to satisfied customers across the country with 20,000 5-star reviews and an A+ rating from the Better Business Bureau. And right now, save 50% off any order during our Labor Day sale. Blindster.com.
The Sportsocracy.
These guys are a f***ing disgrace.
Back in the Sportsocracy on ESPN, Asheville, and the Carolina Panthers. They spent a top 10 pick, the number 8 overall pick, a couple of years ago on J.C. Horn, and he's injured once again. He's had a foot issue. This time it's a hamstring issue this time?
I don't know exactly what. A hamstring, yes.
Yeah.
Serious enough, he's expected to miss extended time, might need surgery, and could land on injured reserve. It's from Adam Schefter.
Man. This kid's been in the league 2 years. He's missed 18 games already.
That's a lot. And he's so good. That's what's so infuriating is that he's so good. And it changes this defense completely.
Mm-hmm.
And now the unfortunate part is, have you looked at who you have to play? Let's say he misses 5 weeks.
All right.
It's the Saints this week. Ouchie. That's Chris Olave.
Mm-hmm.
Seattle Seahawks next week. That's DK Metcalf. Minnesota Vikings. That's Justin Jefferson. Amon-Ra St. Brown with the Detroit Lions. And Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle with the Dolphins.
Woo.
Woof. And now you get to put Dante Jackson on all those guys.
Oh.
Yay!
That's less than ideal.
Not great. Not great it is.
No.
Well, the good thing is Dante Jackson can run with them all. And he'll just be running right beside them as they catch passes on him because he's not good at football.
Broken foot, broken wrist, and now he's got the hamstring issue that they are saying is serious and could land him on IR. So he could be gone for 4 weeks, maybe more.
It could be more. Significant time makes me think that that's more than 4 weeks.
Yeah, and if he has a setback or something, it could be longer. So I guess the main question at this point is, did you make a mistake?
No, I mean, you can't. He had a couple. He didn't have screaming red flags medically. It's just been some bad luck. I mean, that's going to happen in the draft. We see it every single year.
Mm-hmm.
Kid comes in with a pretty clean med slate, and then all of a sudden they can't stay healthy in the NFL. The talent was there. The talent has been obvious when he's been on the field.
Yep.
You just can't keep him on the field.
I mean,
that's unfortunate.
When he plays week in and week out, he's always on the top of that PFF list of the best corners in the league. Even if the stats don't show it, he is incredible in coverage. And I hate to see a guy struggle with injuries like this.
I do too. And it comes at a really bad time. You know, we said this going into the year. It's not going to start well. I mean, I'm looking best case scenario going into the bye week at 2-4, and that's I've got some serious kitty cat glasses on to get to 2-4.
Yes,
you could be 0-6.
You could, but then as
you lost Brady Christensen too.
As we said in the run up to the season, though, the schedule kind of lightens up in the second half. Maybe you got a chance to win some games and kind of do that thing that the Detroit Lions have just done.
Right, lightens out that is the most PC nice way you could possibly have said that. You play 4 of the 6 worst teams in the NFL.
Yes,
and one of them you play twice.
Yes. But point being, maybe you can go on a Detroit Lions-esque run where we can see the next step is coming.
Well, I mean, and that would be the win here.
Absolutely.
Is that you get everything in place. I don't know if you felt the same way about Carolina that I did. That looked like a first-year head coach, a first-year staff, a first-year quarterback, and a group of weapons that has not worked together. It was just clunky.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I heard all this talk in the preseason about, well, Carolina could win the division. Well, they could. It's going to take a lot of things to go your way. And I'm just not sure that's even close to being on the table.
Right. Did you hear the story about the Hayden Hurst touchdown?
No.
So, second quarter, Bryce Young throws his first touchdown of his NFL career. Throws it to Hayden Hurst, who they're in Atlanta. He used to play for Atlanta, right? I guess he went back to old Hayden Hurst mode where he just went to the sideline with the ball and flipped it up into the crowd. What's the problem with that?
That was Bryce Young's
first touchdown. That's Bryce Young's first touchdown ball. Like, he wasn't even thinking about it. Now, thankfully, the Atlanta Falcons fans didn't like that too much because he used to play for them. So they threw the ball back. So no harm, no foul. My question is, who's the dumber in the scenario? Is it Hayden Hurst for throwing the ball into the stands, or is it dumber that the fan held on to it and went, nope, don't want that. Throw it back.
No, it's definitely Hayden Hurst. I don't know if you've ever been in an NFL stadium right there. If a fan does, or if a player does that, and as a fan you have that ball, you rest assured you're getting ready to get paid a visit from somebody that has an NFL logo on their back. And you have two choices. You can see it my way, or you can see it from underneath the stadium. This isn't baseball. Oh, well, we got to negotiate to get the ball back. No, we don't. No, it's on the ticket. That's ours.
Mm-hmm.
Dum-dum, give me that. We might be nice and give you some free swag, but that ball's coming with me, one way or the other.
Well, you could have absconded with it.
Good luck with that.
I mean, they do it all the time. Somebody did it with Tom Brady's touchdown pass.
Yeah.
Remember? And then sold it for $500,000 or something.
Yeah.
It's not impossible.
It's not impossible.
It's not impossible to get out of there with it.
Just hard to do.
You're in the Sportsocracy. This is ESPN Asheville.
This is your Exergen Temporal Scanner weather forecast on ESPN Asheville.
Changes in the air now as the front's going east, and we may even feel a little bit of a drop in the humidity this afternoon as we're going to get some sunshine to come in. High only near 80 degrees. Tonight, clouds will thicken up a bit. We'll get some patchy fog by morning, 56. Thursday, the cloud fog will give way to sunshine, very comfortable in the afternoon, 77. Low 50s Thursday night, many areas in the 40s. Friday, sunny, 78. From the Weather Channel, I'm Ray Stachik.
All across the Tar Heel State, this is Carolina football.
Stepping through a tackle and stepping to the end zone. It is pouring points in Chapel Hill. Holy cow, Carolina's going to win!
The Heels clash with the Minnesota Golden Gophers. Pre-game coverage starts at 2:30, kickoff at 3:30, right here on your home for Carolina football.
Asheville's home for the Tar Heels is ESPN Asheville.
Careless debris burning is the leading cause of wildfires in North Carolina. Before you burn, take a look at the weather and avoid burning on dry, windy days. Never leave your fire unattended. You are the best defense against wildfires. Learn more at ncforestservice.gov.
Crooked teeth may embarrass kids whose families can't afford braces. And trying to fix their teeth themselves can make things worse. Luckily, there's Donated Orthodontic Services, a program from the American Association of Orthodontists. For children and teens who qualify and are matched with a volunteer orthodontist, treatment can be life-changing and help them smile with confidence. Learn more at aaoinfo.org.
From the Ingalls Studios, this is ESPN Asheville, WPEK, W225CJ Fairview, WMXF Waynesville, and iHeart radio station.
The Sportsocracy.
It fires me up, man. I love it. Say it one more time.
The Sportsocracy.
Shake it back!
Beer City's best sports talk.
It is gross.
Just earlier.
They are mature, actually. You just have to get to know them better.
Your lunchtime dose of dumbassery. Live from the Ingalls Studio.
And this is the ESPN Asheville, the Sportsocracy. 92.9 FM, 880 AM and 1400, and we are heard everywhere on the iHeart Radio app, seen everywhere on YouTube. Go to thesportsocracy.com, click the live video link, subscribe to the channel so you can join us in the chat, and 1 o'clock hour here on our new time slot. 12 to 3 is working out well. Hope everybody's enjoying it.
We're certainly enjoying it.
Want to invite everybody to throw in your thoughts into the YouTube chat. Let us know how it's working out for you and maybe some things that you might like to see involved in the program here. Now that we're in a new time slot, might be a little different audience, so we'd like to get some more thoughts. TheSportsocracy.com is our website. You can go to the front page and you can get in on the Battle for the Belt, our DFS contest. We play each and every week, 2 separate contests, a standard DFS competition, and then the Eliminator Challenge, where you can only use guys 3 times throughout the year. All of the invites for this week's contest are going out today. You will get, a report as well on your Eliminator roster, so you can keep track of who you can use this week, who is still available to you. I mean, obviously, we've only had 1 week, so everybody's still on the board.
Still available to you.
You just got to plan it out a little bit better than you normally would on a standard contest. We got 2 belts on the line this year, and as always, our proceeds from the Battle for the Belt going to Eblen Charities St. Nicholas Project. All the links to join the contest are on thesportsocracy.com and, of course, in the description of the YouTube videos.
I would also be remiss if I didn't point out, follow us on the TikTok and the Instaface and all the other social medias, because we're pumping out like 1 billion reels a day. We got, this time slot switch. We're really getting better at that.
Yep.
Because we've learned people have very short attention spans. So 60 seconds. Fire it out there. Let's go.
Yeah. It's time to play that game. It's called Either, Neither, or Both, where we'll give options, and then we say either, neither, or both, and then we'll give you our opinion on it. My first one, I guess I'm going to play on something, Jeremy, you said at the end of the last hour. Who was it? Some dum-dum was talking about an asterisk for the New York Jets win.
Yeah. Because
of a phantom trip on the kickoff or the punt return in overtime.
Which, by the way, wasn't a trip. Just throwing that out there.
As Xavier Gibson returns it for the win on what could have been the absolute worst night in Jets history.
Was the worst night in Jets history.
Maybe a little bit easier to swallow, though. You got to win out of the deal. I was going to say, biggest asterisk snafu, hullabaloo here. The Jets game, or is it the Lions and the Chiefs? Mike Tirico saying that this one had an asterisk on it because of no Chris Jones and no Travis Kelce.
Which one's dumber?
Which one was the biggest dumb take?
Jets by a mile. Your quarterback blew out his Achilles 4 plays in, and you're wanting to whine about a trip? Are you smoking crimes? You want an asterisk of any kind? Hey, here's your asterisk. It's in the middle of a word that starts with
Yep.
No way for me to say that on FCC radio. But you can assume where I was headed. Was going to be an obscenity, and that's pretty much all I got to say about that. Yeah, Mike Tirico's was bad.
Yeah.
And it was stupid. I would argue your take yesterday that they'd won by 2 scores with Travis Kelce. I heard that on the playback and went, I can't believe I didn't say a bad word there.
I don't know why you're bucking at that, because I don't see it any other way.
It's the stupidest thing you've ever said?
No, it's not. Not even close.
Now, name me one time in the history of the NFL that a position player has played versus not played, and it made that big of a difference. Barry Sanders didn't make that big of a difference.
I'm pretty sure that game where Randy Moss caught 3 catches for 300 yards and 3 touchdowns, he made a difference in that game.
Okay, and that was probably the greatest game in NFL history.
Yeah.
So, if you think Travis Kelce was going to have the greatest game in NFL history, maybe then he would have had that big of an effect. I'm still not 100% sure of that. But
oh, my gosh.
Yeah, that's a place where that makes even vague sense.
Mm-hmm.
All right, my first question actually ties into something that Lee Bruce said in the YouTube chat, which is Panthers have to win. I don't want to see the Bears getting a top 10 pick from them. So that got my little creative juices a-flowing, looking at the 2024 NFL draft order.
Okay.
There are 3 first-round picks that have been traded.
All right.
One of them was the Cleveland Browns first-round pick going to Houston. I think we can universally say that bad boy ain't in the top 10.
No.
There are 2 others. Carolina's to Chicago. Houston's to Arizona. Either, neither, or both. Which of those end up in the top 5?
I will say either, and I will say the Houston Texans pick. I'm almost
positive that one's going to end up there. Because Houston's just not any good. You can want to win all you want to.
Yes.
I want to play center for the New York Knicks. Unfortunately, I'm about 8 inches too short, not nearly athletic enough, and, well, that involves running, and I don't do that so good.
Yeah, no, I'm on Houston on that one. I think the Carolina Panthers can be good enough at the end of the year not to be picking in the top 5. I don't think that can come from Houston.
All right. Let me alter the question a little bit.
Okay.
Does that pick end up in the top 10?
The Carolina Panthers pick? I would not bet my house on it, but maybe my car.
That it does?
That it does end up in the top 10.
I'm in the same boat.
Yeah.
I'm in the same boat, and I think then you really have to look at, man, we gave up a ton. Carolina's schedule is ugly. That first 6 is evil. I don't see a winnable game. Minnesota, but without J.C. Horn, Justin Jefferson will get anything and everything he wants. So even that's going to be difficult to win. So you start 0-6, come back from the bye. Yeah, you get Houston, Indianapolis, Chicago, Tennessee, Tampa Bay twice. Every other team on that schedule looks really formidable. And 6-11 probably puts you in the top 10.
Yeah.
I don't see a path to their top 5 bad. If it is that bad, just hypothetically. Did you make a mistake making the Bryce Young move?
No.
I'll say yes definitively.
No.
I'll say yes definitively.
Why?
Because I don't see a path that there aren't going to be 3 better quarterbacks in this draft class than where I had Bryce Young evaluated. And now you guys, that's coming from a guy that loved Bryce Young.
Right.
Caleb Williams is far and away a better prospect. I have Drake May as a better prospect. If Shedeur Sanders is in this draft, there's a possibility that I'm looking at him that way, and there's a possibility I'm looking at Quinn Ewers that way.
Okay. So potentially there could be 4 quarterbacks.
Could be. I don't think Shedeur's coming out.
Yeah.
Everything I have heard is that there is nothing he could do that he's not coming back to play for his dad for another year.
Even if he wins the Heisman.
I mean, you got to think, it's not like he needs the money.
That's true.
That's
true.
Dad's one of the most famous players in the history of the NFL. I think he's doing just fine in that regard.
Right. And if
that helps his dad build the program.
Yeah, and I was going to say if his dad can convince him that you don't want to come out against these 3 quarterbacks, wait till next year. You're going to make plenty of money in NIL anyway.
Oh
right?
Yeah.
I mean, watching the Notre Dame NC State game this past weekend, they were talking about Sam Hartman and how he was all dead set on going to the NFL, and then all of a sudden Notre Dame showed some interest, and he went, well, you know what? I can make a whole lot of money on NIL deals going to Notre Dame, and he did.
Well,
and he's extending his career.
Sam Hartman's a little biased because he's not going in the first round.
Sure, it's a bit of a different scenario, but the principle still remains.
He's a day 3 pick solely because he's I think he's 36 years old.
Right, but the principle still remains here. Even those guys who might be, fringe draft picks in the NFL can make decent money in NIL and stay in college, and you can do that to improve your draft stock even if you're a back end of the first round guy. Let me stay 1 more year, make my money on the name, image, and likeness, and then go pro.
Adam Black in our YouTube comments asked, is it possible that Carolina trades Brian Burns before the deadline if they are that bad?
I guess it's always a possibility.
It depends. If they get another offer that's of the line of what I've been told the Rams offered him last year, I don't know why you didn't do it in the first place. No player's worth that.
What'd they offer?
2 first-rounders.
Oh.
Or maybe they offered 1 and Carolina wanted 2. I don't remember exactly how that went, but it was something like that.
I mean, if you can get 2 first-round draft picks, it's worth considering rather than paying him $27 million a year.
It wouldn't take all of my fingers and toes to get the number of players that I wouldn't trade for 2 first-round draft picks.
Mm-hmm.
And if you take quarterbacks out of that, it may not take both my hands. So
that's fair. My next either, neither, or both is coming from the game of the week. I mean, not the Monday Night Football game. It did end in great fashion, but
that was the game of sadness. That was the game of no one's week.
Right. But I'm going to go Miami Dolphins, Los Angeles Chargers. Now, I want to put the focus on the word grave here, which is a grave concern. Either, neither, or both, the inability of the Dolphins to stop the run or the inability of the Chargers to cover the pass and the Dolphins' inability to stop the run, which is the most grave concern.
And you're asking me if either of those are a grave concern to me.
Yes, either, neither, or both.
The Chargers are a grave concern to me because I watched you just get pounded like a kettle drum in the passing game. Now, there are not a ton of receivers in this league that are fast enough to make J.C. Jackson look that bad. The thing that would concern me if I'm the Chargers is he is looking really Tremaine Johnson-y right now.
Mm-hmm.
I got the money. I don't look like the same corner anymore. I'm not working at the same level that I was in the past. There's been health issues and all of the things. That terrifies me. The Dolphins, it bothers me that you don't stop the run, but think about it like this. How many high-end contenders in the AFC run a lot?
Not many.
Buffalo doesn't.
You got Baltimore.
The Jets do, but that's because they're going to have to.
Right.
Baltimore runs, but now it's with Gus Edwards and Justice Hill and Melvin Gordon. Cleveland is the one. That would be a grave concern for me if we get into week 14 and it's looking like Cleveland's going to be a wild card, Miami's going to be the division winner, and oh, holy crap, we could end up having to play Cleveland in the first round. That's not going to go our way because they can just bleed out the clock. But by then, they would have Jalen Ramsey back in theory.
Mm-hmm.
And that makes it – this is one of those three-dimensional chess kind of things. When I've got Jalen Ramsey, and I know definitively half this field is covered just because I can drop him and he read and reacts the way he does, I'm going to get better against the run because I don't have to keep that extra guy in the box. And they didn't do that against the Chargers. They respected that. It was very obvious when you watch the All-22 that you can run on me all you want to. You're bringing a knife to a gunfight here, and I'm not concerned with what Joshua Kelly or Austin Eckler does to us. My fear is that Justin Herbert starts dropping back and chucking dimes, and now we get into a shootout, and it's going to be the last one with the ball scores.
Yeah.
So, grave concern. The Chargers are a grave concern. I am not gravely concerned about what I saw from Miami Dolphins.
Okay. The more I've thought about it, it's not a grave concern for me for either of these.
Really?
Yeah. It's not, because I honestly believe you can score with anybody. Both of these teams. Right? You're going to give up a lot of passing yards and, give up some touchdowns as the Los Angeles Chargers on defense. But that offense is going to be able to keep up with whoever you play. I don't know that it's not a grave concern for me. I mean, it is a concern. You can lose any game that you're in because of it.
For the Chargers, it's a grave concern to me because everybody in the AFC
is high-powered.
Not necessarily high-powered. They can just score points.
Right.
Even the mid-tier, where the Jets fall in now, Pittsburgh, you play like that, they can score on you.
Mm-hmm.
And those defenses are not going to allow you to score 35 points. That's where that becomes a worry to me, is that every team I'm going to come up against in the AFC, either they can shoot out with me or they can keep me from being that prodigious offense. Let me ask you a question about the Chargers. PFF grade, that's to me, it's not an infallible system, but it's a quantitative system that I can put a numeric value to things.
Right.
How many defensive players for the Chargers finished in the top 50 of their position group in week 1?
3.
You want to hear the list again?
None of them.
Not nary a one of them. Now, here's the scary part of that. There were only 78 safeties and 74 linebackers even graded, which means you finished in the bottom 25 of both those positions with every player that touched the field.
Yeah.
I cannot for the life of me figure out how a defense this talented is this bad. Either the Miami Dolphins are the greatest offense we've ever seen, or good Lord, you're awful defensively again, and I don't know how that happens. Brandon Staley, please fire him. I don't clamor for people to be fired very often, but I love the build of this team, and I hate the way it's coached.
Yeah.
And Charger fans, you deserve better than that.
I'll be honest.
You're as woe-begotten as we are.
I'll be honest with you. I kind of feel like Miami might be knocking on that door at the end of the season, talking about greatest passing offenses of all time.
Well, Tua Tagovailoa right now is on pace for 8,000 yards.
Yeah, you keep putting up 5 bills a week. We'll see.
And usually I would say, well, you're not going to do that. But then I look at the fact that, well, you don't care about running and teams can run on you, so I don't know.
Yeah.
Tua Tagovailoa. You know how many leagues I'm in that I didn't draft him in?
How many?
Oh, you want to hear the list again? I keep looking at that going, that's going to be a fun
You got him in
trade
all
chip.
of them?
Every one of them.
Wow.
Every single league I'm in, I have Tua Tagovailoa.
Except for the Vampire League, which... You the one that laid down the gauntlet with the Vampire League, and we're a week in. Are you regretting that?
Yeah. There's times that, maybe you've had a pop or two. Start sending text. You're writing checks that your arse can't cash. And there's a great possibility that that's where I have put myself.
Indeed.
Because I had to think about, do I want to cut Deion Jackson or Kadarius Toney? Oh, wait. It's both of them. I want to cut both of them because my team is bad.
You're in the Sportsocracy, and this is ESPN Asheville. The best season of the year is here.
Tailgate season.
Monster Brewing presents this season's MVP.
The Beast Unleashed.
With 4 bold, familiar flavors.
With 0 caffeine and 0 sugar.
Beast Unleashed is your new pregame ritual.
With white haze, mean green, peach perfect, and scary berries, there's a flavor for every fan. The Beast Unleashed.
6% alcohol by volume. Unleashed responsibly. Must be 21 or over. Beast Unleashed available at your local retailer.
I believe real estate isn't about properties. It's about people. I'm Clarissa Hyatt Zach with eXp Realty, serving all of Western North Carolina. Navigating the home buying and selling journey can feel overwhelming at times, and that's why having an agent who cares about you and your needs is key. I'm a native of Western North Carolina, and I close over a home a week. I'm an expert in the market, pricing my sellers correctly to net you the most money, and working as a skilled negotiator for my buyers. Please give me a call today at 828-774-6343 to set up a complimentary market analysis.
Rogue Combat Club, Asheville's home for comprehensive martial arts training, has a goal for our community, one that's stronger, more fit, and unwavers in its support of one another. Rogue Combat Club's instructors have competed at the highest levels and offer classes for everyone from young children to adults in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, Muay Thai, and wrestling. Rogue Combat Club classes can help you boost your self-confidence and self-defense skills while weeding out the egos and intimidation found at other gyms. Join today at roguecombatclub.com.
You'd do anything to keep your vehicle happy. Let's make sure it stays running smoothly. With eBay Guaranteed Fit, the right parts are just a click away. When you see the green check, you know that part will fit. Get the right parts at the right prices. ebaymotors.com. Let's ride. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
This week in the Buncombe County Game of the Week, the conference season gets underway, and we've got a great matchup for you. The Irwin Warriors at the Inca Jets. Inca's coming off a bye week with a 2-1 record, looking to get things going again. The Warriors look to bounce back from a tough loss at West Henderson. Sports Tank Friday gets us going at 6. The Bojangles Countdown to Kickoff show is at 6:30. Kickoff is at 7. The best coverage of high school football is on News Radio 570, WWNC, and ESPN Asheville.
Hey there, it's Craig Melvin from The Today Show. Coming up this week, the Today team takes you inside the first Sunday night game of the NFL season. Plus, Carrie Underwood performs live. Join us every morning on NBC because every day needs today.
Your left shoe is missing, and the dog found what in the trash?
Your mornings are unpredictable enough. Get a better start with First News on 570 with Mark Starling on News Radio 570 WWNC.
Football's here. Switch to My Plan from Verizon and get NFL Sunday Ticket from YouTube and YouTube TV on us with eligible phone purchase and Unlimited Plus. Offer ends soon. Head to Verizon today. $449 value applies to NFL Sunday Ticket season 23-24 only. Additional terms and embargoes apply to NFL Sunday Ticket on YouTube. No refunds.
What do you think is going on?
Something has weaponized the seas against us.
Tuesdays on the CW.
I think we're looking at a new species.
From the producer of Game of Thrones, it's the new series The Swarm, based on the best-selling novel.
There have been other people infected. None of them survived.
The hell is that?
The Tide
We need help. I repeat, we need help now. No!
has turned.
We have a weapon, and we should use it.
The Swarm, Tuesdays and streaming free the next day on the CW.
This is the Sportsocracy, and we are live at the Ingles studio on ESPN Asheville. I'm Tank Spencer. He's Jeremy Green. You can see us everywhere on the iHeartRadio, or listen everywhere on the iHeartRadio app. See us on YouTube. Go to thesportsocracy.com. Click that live video link and subscribe to the channel. That way you can join us in the chat. Hey, either, neither, both questions. You can throw yours in the chat as well, and we can get to those.
I think that's a brilliant idea.
I just thought of that during the break. Like, we've never asked you guys for that. If you want to throw out either, neither, both questions, you absolutely can. We could do another either, neither, both tomorrow if we don't have time to get to all of them today.
Sounds like a Threadbare Thursday thing.
Exactly.
That's we're two big dumb animals, but we do learn.
Yeah, sometimes you stumble onto good ideas in the heat of the moment. Either, neither, or both.
I think we've stumbled onto every good idea we've ever had. I don't know that we've ever been sitting here conspiring and going, hey, look, I came up with this brilliant idea. No, usually we're sitting here listening to Robert Kennedy say weird things and laughing a whole lot.
John Kennedy.
Oh, yeah, Ron Kennedy.
Not Robert.
As a matter of fact, don't know that there's two people on the planet that are any less similar than those two.
Although if it was Robert, that would make some of the presidential campaign commercials really entertaining.
Yeah, Robert, call your cousin. All right. I know what we need for this campaign season, and it's targeted mailers saying that. We missed two teams quite aggressively in week one.
Okay.
Either, neither, both. After week one, are you worried now they don't even make the playoffs? Seattle Seahawks, Pittsburgh Steelers.
Ooh, that's a good question.
Yeah, usually when you see me write either, neither, both on the board, you can rest assured I probably got three bangers.
There's a hammer in there somewhere. Wow, I hadn't really thought about it all that much, but I'm gonna say the Seahawks.
Okay, explain that.
Well, because Geno had a good year last year.
Mm-hmm.
And he looked like old Geno in this game, in the week one game against the LA Rams. They also suffered a couple of offensive line injuries, which is never a good sign. I get that they weren't serious injuries, and both those guys are probably going to play this week. They may be questionable.
Charles Cross is going to be he's a GTD. Game time decision.
Okay. And then the other one got hurt as well. They just signed Jason Peters to be their sixth tackle or something on the team.
Yeah, when the guy that's saving you is older than me, you should probably take that with a grain of salt.
The defense did not look good, and I can't really chalk that all up to, well, everybody wasn't on the field. I've heard that so many times or seen that so many times on social media from Seahawks. Well, we didn't have Devin Witherspoon. Dude, he's a rookie. And I don't know how good he was going to be right out the gate, but I guarantee you he wasn't going to cause a 20-point swing in that game.
You let Puka and Tutu just eviscerate you, which, by the way, if we don't start a cop drama called Puka and Tutu, we did it wrong.
I'm going to go with this. I'll go with the Seahawks. I know that they're in the easier conference. They're in the NFC, where you would think that they should be able to just limp to a spot in the playoffs. But I refuse to bet against the Pittsburgh Steelers anymore. I just refuse to do it. You're gonna now just get the benefit of the doubt from me from forever. You're gonna be solidly the number 7 seed in the playoffs for the rest of time until you prove it to me. Until you get 2 weeks out from the playoffs and it's like, oh, okay, they're gonna have a losing season.
All right. So on the scale of concern for the Seattle Seahawks, I'm a 4.
Okay.
Because Geno Smith looked like the West Virginia feller that I recall in my nightmares quite often. And the Jets quarterback that I recall in my nightmares quite often. But I really feel like you just sleptwalked. You did that thing that it's the reason I could never be a head coach in the NFL. Because I would fall victim to that where I start looking ahead because you got the Lions this week. We're playing these just dog baby Rams team. And oops, took my eye off the ball, coach, and I dropped it. But then I look around the NFC and go, 7 teams are making the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
I think we can definitively say the Commanders and the Giants are not going to be 2 of them. Feel pretty sure the Vikings are not going to be one of them.
Mm-hmm.
The NFC South has to get one, which is the dumbest thing on the planet Earth. Hey, you're in an awful division. Let's reward you for giving you a home playoff game. You see how stupid that is when I said it out loud? And I still don't think the Rams – I don't buy you anymore now than I did a week ago.
Right.
So Seattle, I easily see a path that you still are what I thought you were.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to come out this week – catch Detroit coming off an emotional high, home opener, buzzed up stadium, and you look like the team I expected you to be.
Mm-hmm.
Pittsburgh, I have legitimate fears, and a lot of those are stemming from the fact that every Steelers fan I've talked to over the last 2 years has just pounded it in my head that Najee Harris is something is up with him.
Mm-hmm.
He is not good at this, and he did it again. He just keeps doing it over and over and over again. And I don't think Kenny Pickett is a great quarterback. I've said I thought he was Colt McCoy on steroids. That's what you're going to get out of him. But the receiving core was good. I thought the defense was really good. Well, the defense was awful. Najee Harris was awful. The line wasn't good.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think all of that can be attributed to San Francisco. So mine is an either. I am scared. If I'm a Pittsburgh Steelers fan, I am scared to death because I'm looking around my division going, I already know how good Baltimore is because you're this good every year.
Mm-hmm.
Cleveland might be the big scary monster under the bed at this point. Stephen A. Smith had them as the 4th best team in the NFL today.
Yep.
And the more I thought about it, the more I couldn't say he was wrong. I don't agree with it, but I can't tell you you're wrong.
Mm-hmm.
And Cincinnati is Cincinnati. Oh, they were awful in week 1. Yeah, they were last year too.
Mm-hmm.
They were actually awful for 3 weeks. And then when they figured it out, they were the same team they had been.
When we were talking in the offseason about how good this Pittsburgh team could be in this division, you know, I think we got to, at one point, could they be the best team in the division? Maybe. But they'd need a whole lot of things to go wrong for everybody else for that to happen. You kept saying this is the safest team in the NFL. That we know what they're going to be.
Well, yeah. You were using that a little slightly out of context because when I said that, I was talking about over 8.5 wins, and I still feel that even after what just happened.
But it's also they're not going to be dog water for the most part.
They will not go 5-12, but they also won't go 12-5. I now know the latter.
Exactly.
I didn't know that before.
Exactly. So I always felt like when we talked about this team being the best in the division, it was just always, maybe. But I don't think that they're doomed by any means. We got week 2 in the NFL coming up this week.
But before we move on, there was a good either, neither, both that came in the chat.
Okay.
I would like to discuss it.
Yes, absolutely.
It's from GG Gambling. Either, neither, both. Rams and Packers. If they continue to win, does it hurt them moving forward because they have a lot of money and good draft picks? I would say the exact opposite. If you keep winning, that gives free agents a reason to want to play there. Not that Green Bay really delves into the free agent market much anyway, but you do have draft picks. And if you hit on a bunch of these young guys, like if the Rams are right on Tutu Atwell and Puka Nacua, and Cooper Kupp does come back sometime in this season, what quarterback's going to look at that and go, nope, don't want to throw to that? Then you got two really young receivers and one 30-year-old vet that's as nice of a safety blanket as you could possibly have. Conversely, same thing with the Packers. What lineman's not going to want to block for Jordan Love if he continues to look that efficient with Jaden Reed and Luke Musgrave and Christian Watson, who didn't even play, Romeo Doubs, and you got a defense that's that good? You want it. That's one of those misnomer things of, yeah, if you're bad, lose early and often. If you're not bad and you've got a roster that's made up of, that's two of the, I think, 6 youngest rosters in the league, you don't want to be awful because you do not want to build a culture that losing is okay. You want these guys to get used to winning, get that hunger for winning, and okay, that means you have the 15th pick. Well, it's as opposed to having the 8th. I mean, you're not the worst team in the league. There's no path to that with the Packers. I do think there's a path to that to the Rams.
Yeah,
that could be total smoke and mirrors. But Sean McVay's a really good coach, so I could be wrong.
Okay. All right. Week 2 in the NFL on the way. We got to do our Beast of the Week. Fantasy football this week. Who you taking?
Beast of the Night. Brought to you by Monster Brewing. The Beast Unleashed.
All right, last week on Monday we did our Beasts of the Weekend, or I did my Beasts of the Weekend.
Yeah, because you're bad at this and don't understand beast.
All right, I got one beast for you. I've been laid down the law here. One beast for today's Beast of the Weekend coming up. And I'm going to look at that Pittsburgh Steelers team that we were just talking about. And they were not good against the San Francisco 49ers last week. And there's a very good chance that they won't be good again against the Cleveland Browns this week. And Nick Chubb is my Beast of the Weekend because...
Really?
I'm just saying... They are going to focus on ramming the ball down their throats, just like San Francisco did, and San Francisco came up with almost 200 yards rushing against them. 150 something of those were Christian McCaffrey's.
Yeah, and a lot of those were out in the flat. It wasn't necessarily, hey, I'm just running over guard. I'm not telling you you're wrong. Nick Chubb to me would fit in this any week. I did not expect
and
that.
And last week there were some dump offs to Chubb where he looked good in space. I'm just saying, Nick Chubb ain't just the between the tackles guy. He can get to the outside too, and he could burn you.
Well, it's funny that you finally figured out that it's not beasts because today I'm cheating and going beasts.
Okay,
and it's probably the only time you'll ever hear me say this. It's the Dallas Cowboys defense. Let me do a little mathing for you. Zach Wilson is bad at football. That receiving core was built for Aaron Rodgers. Zach Wilson is not equal to Aaron Rodgers, and Micah Parsons is going to hurt his little feelings. Little cherub Zach Wilson is going to be sitting on the field crying like a smallish child. And I, who have not missed a Jets game in 25 years, am seriously considering not even watching this game. I'm not that guy. I'm just not sure my heart can take what I'm going to see. Our buddy Bert Kreischer's in Greenville, and I'm not going to lie to you, I'm supposed to be going to Charlotte, but that drive is less than ideal, and it's right after the show, so it's a lot of moving pieces. Leave your luggage in the back of the car. Or I could go Sunday, and it's a shorter drive, stay in a hotel down there, come back Monday morning, and we're all hunky-dunky. And I'm looking at that game going, I don't know that I can take it. I don't know that with the hope I had for how good this team was, I'm not sure I can physically watch this game.
How many Jets games have you missed?
In my life?
I was going to say, yeah.
I haven't missed one in 25 years.
Well, there you go. I don't think you're going to miss this week.
I haven't missed one in 25 years.
I don't think
the more likely is that we go Greenville and we get down there early and we watch it in a bar and I mind my P's and Q's because I have no real vested interest here because I have no hope. And we just have a nice meal and I quietly sit there and watch my team get bludgeoned. And then we walk down to Bon Secours Arena and laugh at jokes.
All right.
Because if there's anything in this life that I know definitively I'm going to need after watching what the Dallas Cowboys are about to do to Dwayne Brown and Mekhi Becton, it's a little humor. And there's nobody better at that than our buddy Bert Kreischer.
You're in the Sportsocracy. This is ESPN Asheville. When we come back, we'll get weird.
This is your Exergen Temporal Scanner weather forecast on ESPN Asheville.
Changes in the air now as the front's going east, and we may even feel a little bit of a drop in the humidity this afternoon as we're going to get some sunshine to come in. High only near 80 degrees. Tonight, clouds will thicken up a bit. We'll get some patchy fog by morning, 56. Thursday, the cloud fog will give way to sunshine, very comfortable in the afternoon, 77. Low 50s Thursday night, many areas in the 40s. Friday, sunny, 78. From the Weather Channel, I'm Ray Stachik.
This report is sponsored by Tyson Furniture.
At Tyson Furniture, we have a huge selection of furniture, honest values, and great service. We are a big store, and Black Mountain has wonderful restaurants and interesting shops to explore. Visit us at Tyson Furniture in Black Mountain, where beautiful homes begin.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Do you find yourself stuck in a timeshare? Get the real facts about the timeshare industry and your options for cancellation. Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group, has put together a free information guide that reveals the secrets the timeshare industry doesn't want you to know, including the 5 ways to get rid of your timeshare. Call now and get this timeshare cancellation guide absolutely free.
Call 800-917-5151. 800-917-5151. 800-917-5151.
Hey there, it's Craig Melvin from The Today Show. Coming up this week, the Today team takes you inside the first Sunday night game of the NFL season. Plus, Carrie Underwood performs live. Join us every morning on NBC because every day needs today.
At Ingles, we're proud to sponsor area athletics at all levels. Whether we're building new fields for T-ball, celebrating Friday night rivals, televising college basketball games, bringing the Fan Fest to semi-pro soccer, or taking you out to the ball game at your minor league park. We're here for the fans. No one gets the dedication to the home team like you guys. And we've got all the sports you can handle. It's all in the bag. Ingles. Low prices. Love the savings.
Tired of getting dinged by monthly fees on your checking account? You need Simple Checking from Home Trust Bank. With Simple Checking, you get all the essential checking services for free, including 100% online access and a free Visa debit card. It's everything you need from a checking account, but no hoops, no surprises, no monthly fees. Stop by today or call 800-627-1632. Simple Checking at Home Trust. Ready for what's next. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
The season we've all been waiting for is here. No, not that one. The season of the Big Orange Tent is underway in Western North Carolina. The area's largest selection of Halloween costumes, decorations, and accessories is at the Big Orange Tent at the Asheville Mall. Halloween Express is your one-stop shop for adult and child costumes, superheroes, horror icons, inflatable suits. You can find it all under the Big Orange Tent at the Asheville Mall. 10 to 8 Monday through Saturday, 12 to 6 on Sundays.
On the weird scale, there's Vegas, there's Florida, and there's Asheville. Let's get weird, Asheville.
It is ESPN Asheville. This is the Sportsocracy, and it's time to get weird. And Jeremy, I know you love telling weird stories about people in golf carts driving into traffic and We like to talk about people driving excavators into Walmarts and things like that. But when it comes to weird stuff, I like to bring out the conspiracy theory hat sometimes.
Uh-oh.
And no, it's going down the same path of
wait. So you're
we may have found one. We may have found an alien planet.
Oh, good Lord.
Yes. I love my NASA stories. And apparently, in a galaxy far, far away, we have found, it's called K218b is what they're calling it, but they have found what they're calling an exoplanet that's 8.6 times as massive as Earth, and the readings from our space telescopes have told us that there is a carbon-bearing atmosphere that could have an ocean and it could have life on another planet. They're out there, Jeremy, and I don't know why.
Oh,
I don't know why you don't believe.
Are you too afraid?
You're too afraid to
not
believe.
Ugh.
There are life forms on other planets, my brother.
Ugh.
And we're gonna find them soon.
Here's the thing. I don't care. That's
He's like, I don't care.
I don't care.
I don't care. Just give me my football
I
games.
hate the vast majority of people on this planet. I don't need more people that irritate me. Okay? Well, everybody, what's out there? Probably
Don't care.
a lot of things that won't sleep with you either. Okay? You struggle with that on this planet. It ain't going to get better when you get to extraterrestrial life.
That's how Jeremy's brain works.
It's just a bunch more creatures that'll shoot you down. Dale, that's what it is.
NASA reporting that the K218b orbits a cool dwarf star, K218, in the habitable zone 120 light years away. They're out there, Jeremy.
Adam Black says they have a corpse in Mexico.
They do.
I mean, I don't understand why this is such a thing to people. Like, we have to find out if there's aliens. What do you think, they're going to drink beers with you and watch the Bears game?
Might. You never know.
Do you think we're going to go Mars attacks and they're just going to come take us over? Look, I have seen some of the things that worry you people. If they wanted to take us over, they would have done it a long time ago. Just don't fall into, like, West Virginia South. Don't go there. Those people come heavily armed. In New York, you probably take over the whole city and they won't even prosecute you. My story is about the Super Bowl halftime show. Tay-Tay.
Thank you, Tay-Tay.
Said no. So now, Rock Nation, who is putting on the Super Bowl halftime show, is having to come up with an alternative plan. And now there is a conspiracy theory out there that Harry Styles is going to be the headliner.
Woo!
And he could be joined by some people from our past. Nope.
No, the computer's not.
Of course it's not.
So damn
you
slow.
know, it's buttons. Can we get a button that works? Please. In sync. There we go.
There you go.
That's what I was looking for.
You tossed to it just a little too soon.
Well, you were shaking your head at me, so I didn't think it was going to happen. Okay. Now, hear me out here.
Yep.
Can we please have a halftime show that makes sense for the demographic of what's watching this game? How many dudes you know that are going, oh, you know what? The game will be good, but I really can't wait to hear bye again. With New Kids on the Block and 98 Degrees. I mean, the good thing is that 98 Degrees, you don't have to worry about them clearing up their schedule. I think they could probably get the weekend off from their job at Allstate.
The only way that could have been better if you'd have said all D's.
Yeah.
Chris Kirkpatrick's just bagging groceries these days.
It's entirely possible. Is there any excitement for that? Like, if they announce that, do you go, yes?
I mean, no, not me personally, but yes, like there's a lot of excitement for that. I feel like they do this all the time, though, because it's got to be, they're never going to go full like heavy metal. We're not going to get the Metallica show that every dude has been yearning for.
I'm perfectly fine with that. As somebody that's seen Metallica live, trust me, you're good.
But we do this all the time, right? We have these.
This is the easiest thing on the planet. It's Luke Combs. I've already said that. Stop overthinking.
If it was that easy, they'd have done it by now.
I don't think they would.
Really?
No, and I don't know why. But instead, we're going to get – I couldn't name another NSYNC song if I tried, and I hate that you played Bye 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 because it's the only one I could think of. I just remember they were all
terrible.
That was a thing that we were. I mean, I don't know why I'm saying we. I was never into the boy band thing.
Oh, no. We were all standing back going, why are we watching NSYNC right now when you could have Britney Spears or Christina Aguilera on this television?
You deserve the bell right there.
Right?
Yes, there was a golden age in the late 90s, early 2000s of music. It had nothing to do with music whatsoever.
No, sir.
And
Give me more Britney Spears with her big old snake on the stage. I'll be yeah. I'm all here for that.
I once dated a girl because she looked like Christina Aguilera, and that's 100% a true story. Pretty sure she still lives in this city and would probably attest to that.
How much did she get in that divorce?
I got nothing on that. That was a mic drop. First time in 5 years, Tank just went, boop.
You're in the Sportsocracy, and this is ESPN Asheville.
I believe real estate isn't about properties. It's about people.
I'm Clarissa Hyatt-Zach with eXp Realty, serving all of Western North Carolina.
Navigating the home buying and selling journey can feel overwhelming at times, and that's why having an agent who cares about you and your needs is key. I'm a native of Western North Carolina, and I close over a home a week. I'm an expert in the market, pricing my sellers correctly to net you the most money, and working as a skilled negotiator for my buyers. Please give me a call today at 828-774-6343 to set up a complimentary market analysis.
If cleanliness is next to godliness, look around the car right now. Is that very godly? Look, life comes at you fast, but so does WNC Auto Detailing. They have the tools to make your interior look like it's coming off the showroom floor. You don't believe me? Check them out on Instagram. All that filth and years of stains disappear. WNC Auto Detailing does full interior and exterior details with paint correction, and they do wax and ceramic coatings. Call WNC Auto Detailing at 455-3700. Premium care with a Southern hospitality touch.
Attention, it's time for the morning announcements. Make sure your parents are aware of the Ingalls Tools for Schools program and ask them to link their Ingalls Advantage card to our school. Remember, you have to do it each year. Now please stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
The countdown is on to our 2023 iHeartRadio Music Festival.
The most massive live music event of the year.
Friday and Saturday, September 22nd and 23rd at T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas.
Streaming live only on Hulu.
Gear up, music fans. Hyundai is back again this year as a proud partner of the 2023 iHeartRadio Music Festival. Join them on the ultimate musical journey as the all-star lineup hits the stage like you've never seen before. Hyundai, it's your journey.
What's holding you back from learning the language you've always wanted to know?
Too hard. Takes too long.
Not with Babbel. Babbel's lessons take just 15 minutes a day.
15 minutes isn't long.
Nope. And they're fun. So you don't realize you're learning a language, but you are. In 3 weeks, you're able to start having conversations. And Babbel's lessons are built around real life.
And with Babbel, it isn't hard. It's perfect.
Now try Babbel free. Just go to Babbel.com. That's BABBEL.com.
What do you think is going on?
Something has weaponized the seas against us.
Tuesdays on the CW.
I think we're looking at a new species.
From the producer of Game of Thrones, it's the new series The Swarm, based on the best-selling novel.
There have been other people infected. None of them survived.
What the hell is that? The tide
We need help. I repeat, we need help now. No!
has turned.
We have a weapon, and we should use it.
The Swarm, Tuesdays and streaming free the next day on the CW.
The Sportsocracy.
Why are you smiling?
Because I love football.
Back in the Sportsocracy on ESPN Asheville. One more hour of the program to go after the top of the hour.
I think Scott Treadway wins comment of the day.
Oh, yeah?
He was at the Super Bowl with Prince.
Oh,
miserable
I bet that was
game,
sweet.
miserable weather, awesome halftime show.
Absolutely. That was one of the greatest halftime shows.
That would be my three.
Yeah.
That was behind Dr. Dre, Eminem. That's the clear one.
Mm-hmm.
Shakira and J-Lo is the clear two. And then that's the three.
That's the number one for me. Travis Kelce and Chris Jones back at practice for the Kansas City Chiefs today. Travis returning from his injury in the Week 1 absence that cost his team the win on Thursday Night Football. And Chris Jones has gotten the contract sorted out where he got incentives that could pay him, $6 more million than he was scheduled to make this year. Obviously, getting those two guys back is extremely important for this team. I know you bucked when I said that Kansas City could have blown Detroit out if Travis Kelce had been playing in that game.
Somehow, every time you say that, it gets dumber and dumber and dumber. You're just doubling down on it repeatedly.
100% I am, because I truly believe that is the case. If he'd have been in that game, it would have been completely different. The interception return for a touchdown probably never happens. And
so every pass that came out of Pat Mahomes' hands was going to go to Travis Kelce.
No, but
there's a great
the majority of the
that
ones that they
pass
dropped would have.
I'm going to disagree. And we've been betting on the NFL for 60 years. I've never, ever has one player.
You're right. Travis Kelce's on the field. Kadarius Toney is still getting all those opportunities.
He was thrown at 5 times. 5. He just so happened to drop all of them. It's just funny to me. You think, well, Pat Mahomes would have thrown 40 targets at Travis Kelce. No, that's not quite how that was going to go.
All right, so they're back at practice now. What does that mean going forward? It's just rinse and repeat.
There's a betting anomaly on this game that I felt like I had to chuck out there before we started giving gambling picks tomorrow.
Okay.
They're a 3-point favorite at Jacksonville. It's a Jacksonville team we really like.
Mm-hmm.
What percent of the money do you think is on Kansas City right now?
63%.
You are grossly too low.
Really?
79% of the handle is on Kansas City.
Okay.
94% of the cash is on Kansas City.
There you go.
Giving 3.
Mm-hmm.
That feels like an overreaction to me. I said before they lost to Detroit, I thought they would go into Jacksonville and lose. And I don't know that I feel that way now. I haven't made a pick on that game yet. I still believe in Jacksonville. Nothing's changed.
Mm-hmm.
Just because Kansas City's coming in here 0-1 does not mean that I don't still view Jacksonville the same way that I did.
Yeah.
I saw that and it immediately made me think of what you had said about Travis Kelce and how ridiculous it was.
Because
and now
knows
everybody's going that way. And you know what that makes me want to do?
Go the other way.
Wave at them as I'm walking the other way.
Because everybody knows it's true. Everybody knows it would have been a different game if Travis Kelce had been involved. In this team at full strength, I'm going to take you against everybody. Pretty much. I mean, they got a game, coming up later on in the season? They play at Cincinnati, I think. I'm just trying to recall off the top of my head. They've got a couple of games that maybe you would take the other team. Maybe you would take them on the road at Buffalo, or you would take Buffalo at home against them, or Cincinnati at home against them. You're not taking anybody else.
All right, so put your money where your mouth is. We hadn't made any board bets here this week.
We have not.
Let's just, in theory, say Travis Kelce does not play, because they haven't confirmed that yet. He's progressing back. He was limited in practice today. He's got one more shot to practice tomorrow in full, which it doesn't sound like he's going to. So he would be coming in 2 weeks of limited practice. If Travis Kelce doesn't play, are you taking the Kansas City Chiefs or Jacksonville Jaguars?
Jacksonville.
If Travis Kelce does play, are you taking the Kansas City Chiefs or the Jacksonville Jaguars?
Kansas City.
If Travis Kelce doesn't play, you know what? I'll go instead. I'm taking Jacksonville regardless.
Really?
I am. I'm taking Jacksonville regardless.
Okay.
I'm going to stick to my old, better ways, which is when all of you go one direction, I'm going to go the other.
Mm-hmm.
Because I feel like this is blatant disrespect to Jacksonville, a team that's really good. Really good.
Mm-hmm.
And we're making too much of Travis Kelce. Because you mark my words, the number from Vegas will change by 2 points. If it comes out tomorrow, he's not going to play. That'll go down to a 1-point line. And everybody will abandon ship to Jacksonville. And it'll be 4.5 by game time, which is insane.
Travis Kelce changes everything for me when it comes to Kansas City. You're in the Sportsocracy, and this is ESPN Asheville.
This is your Exergen Temporal Scanner weather forecast on ESPN Asheville.
Changes in the air now as the front's going east, and we may even feel a little bit of a drop in the humidity this afternoon as we're going to get some sunshine to come in. High only near 80 degrees. Tonight, clouds will thicken up a bit. We'll get some patchy fog by morning, 56. Thursday, the cloud fog will give way to sunshine, very comfortable in the afternoon, 77. Low 50s Thursday night, many areas in the 40s. Friday, sunny, 78. From the Weather Channel, I'm Ray Stajic.
This week in the Buncombe County Game of the Week, the conference season gets underway, and we've got a great matchup for you. The Irwin Warriors at the Inca Jets. Inca's coming off a bye week with a 2-1 record, looking to get things going again. The Warriors look to bounce back from a tough loss at West Henderson. Sports Tank Friday gets us going at 6. The Bojangles Countdown to Kickoff show is at 6:30. Kickoff is at 7. The best coverage of high school football is on News Radio 570, WWNC, and ESPN Asheville.
All right, folks, let's get started. Parents, thanks for coming.
As many of you know, I'm Coach Mather. Tonight I want to talk about the season, of which I only have one expectation: that everybody gets stronger. When I say get stronger, I'm not referring solely to physical strength. Sure, we'll be in the weight room, we'll be running stairs, but we're also going to focus on developing mental toughness and grit, because those are the characteristics that allow us to achieve greatness both on and off the court. So, how do we develop those things? By getting comfortable with a challenge, by cultivating the confidence necessary to overcome adversity in all forms. That's why I coach. That's my purpose. Every member of this team can lean on me, and I'll teach them how they can lean on themselves and each other.
This message presented by the NCHSAA and the North Carolina Athletic Directors Association.
From the Ingalls Studios, this is ESPN Asheville, WPEK, W225CJ Fairview, WMXF Waynesville, and iHeart radio station.
The Sportsocracy.
It fires me up, man. I love it. Say it one more time.
The Sportsocracy.
Shake it back!
Beer City's best sports talk.
It is gross.
Just earlier.
They are mature, actually. You just have to get to know them better.
Your lunchtime dose of dumbassery. Live from the Ingalls studio.
We are back in the Ingalls studio on ESPN Asheville, 92.9 FM, 880 AM, and 1400. The Sportsocracy, heard everywhere you go on the iHeart Radio app. You can take us with you everywhere, 12 to 3 now, weekday afternoons here on ESPN Asheville. You can watch us live in the Ingalls studio on YouTube. Go to thesportsocracy.com, click the live video link, subscribe to the channel. That way you can join us in the chat. You could tell us about your great adventures in sportsing. Like our guy who went to the Super Bowl with Prince at the halftime show. I've always wanted to do that. I've always wanted to go to a Super Bowl.
I'll pass. I can watch it on television. I mean, I'm sure it'd be fun.
I mean,
that's a lot of people.
I was going to say, has the experience in the suite at Bank of America Stadium spoiled you that much? Or have you always been anti-Super Bowl?
I was never really an in-stadium guy. I mean, the suite has made it, hey, that I'll do. That's air-conditioned. That's fine. A big soup bowl full of sweaty, smelly people. Yeah, I'm good. I don't want to.
I don't know why, but I always thought that you would be the crowd. You always struck me as a crowd guy. Or at least an out and about kind of guy. I know you don't like to be touched and all of that, but
I loved performing in front of crowds. I don't really like being in crowds.
Mm-hmm.
Like a lot of people have always told me I'm really weird. That the more people are in a room, the livelier I get.
Yep.
I love being the center of attention. I just don't want to be another face in a crowd.
Yeah, there has been, I have my safe space, right? On Sundays, I like to be at home, sitting around and, not having to be around people, just enjoy the games. But there's something about that in-person stadium experience that it's like no other. I'd really like to do it for a Super Bowl, especially one for a halftime show that I could get into. Probably not the boy band's halftime show, as we talked about in the last hour. But I don't know. Luke Combs ever makes the halftime show? Maybe that's
Luke
one
Combs
like
would be one I could. If the Jets make the Super Bowl, Luke Combs doing the halftime show. All right,
although I feel like if this goes any further, the relationship between Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift, I feel like we might have to have a Taylor Swift halftime show at some point.
Or not.
Well, just saying. Everybody gets to that point, right?
I have to wash my hair during that one.
Worst halftime show. Whatever Taylor Swift would throw out there or Coldplay?
Ooh.
Yeah, see, I knew I'd stump you on that one.
Oh. It's like saying, would you rather get hit by a car or a bus? They both are going to hurt. Yeah, there's no winners.
There's no winners.
There's no winners in that.
All right, it is the Sportsocracy and final hour of the program here on a Wednesday tomorrow. Get prepared for Threadbare Thursday. Anything you've been burning on this week, anything we haven't talked about that you think we should be highlighting, you throw those out in the chat. We can bank some for tomorrow from today's chat thread, or you just hold on to it till tomorrow. And you can throw it out there then. Top of the third hour of the program here. We always do the daily draft, and today it's the player from week 1 that you believe the most in going forward, I guess. Am I saying that right? Am I framing that correctly for you?
Yes.
So, the player from week 1 that you're highest on should be your first pick?
Yes.
Do I have the first pick?
Sure.
Okay. The player that I am highest on from week 1.
And this is compared to what we thought going in. So
Okay.
who do you really believe is actually going to continue to be an impact player?
See, it's tough for me because I look at some of the big performances from last week, and
would you rather me go first? Because I have one that's
No. I'm gonna do that thing that you do, and I'm gonna kind of go deep divey here because I don't want to, take like an Austin Eckler or somebody like that. It's not spicy. Rashid Shaheed from the New Orleans Saints. Last year, he was the guy that was like the sneaky little pickup. I want to say it was around week 6 or 7. He had like a 2-touchdown game, and everybody had to run out and get him in fantasy football. And then he went on a stretch where every time he touched the ball, he scored a touchdown. And then you see what he did this past week, where he was a usable piece there despite the fact that there's Michael Thomas and Chris Olave around him. I know Alvin Kamara is coming back into the mix here in a few weeks for this team. But I'm still looking at Rashid Shaheed going, that guy's got the blinding kind of speed, and he's sneaky under the radar for all these defenses because you have to focus on Chris Olave. You have to focus on Michael Thomas. And that leaves that little gem out there just making plays.
Not that little.
And I think, name-wise, not many people know who he is. If you went up to the average fan, even like a smart fan, and said, hey, Rashid Shaheed, you know anything about him other than the fact that he plays for the New Orleans Saints? Where did he go to college?
Weber State. I know the answer to that.
I was going to say, most people can't tell you that. So I think that's the first one I'm going with.
That's a formidable selection. It's not who I was going to take, and mine was won by a lot.
Okay.
It's Puka Nacua, and it's not even close. I think he would be a top 24 receiver in the NFL, fantasy-wise, if he played for any other team. Here's the problem. I'm afraid that the more we see of this, the more teams are going to pick up on that, especially with no Cooper Kupp.
Right.
Because I don't really believe in Tutu Atwell going forward. I think he'll be fine. He's a serviceable receiver. Will he ever have 112 yards or something like that in the first game?
Yep.
Will he do that again this year? Probably not. Nacua can. He is going to be an absolute steal for the Rams. And I do think they're going to be behind a lot. So you're going to see him put up stats like this a good bit moving forward. I mean, it probably won't be 10 catches, 119 yards, but I think he's a pretty safe floor. And he looked just incredibly explosive. He's bigger than I thought he was. I know what he was listed at, but he played bigger than I expected him to.
Okay.
And I think he's got actual legit number one receiver in the NFL potential. I think he could be a top 30 receiver in the NFL. And I don't believe that's all that untoward.
10 catches, 119 yards in week 1 against the Seattle Seahawks.
He was phenomenal.
Okay, number 2.
My next one was not phenomenal, but I'm going to have to make a bit of a fait accompli on this because I didn't think this was going to go this way. It's Tyler Algier. He's going to have a role. I knew he was going to have a role. I just didn't think it was going to be that where he got almost half the snaps. And I'm not sure that that's going to stop. Cordero Patterson might move some of the percentages around, but I don't think he changes the fact that Tyler Algier is actually a really good running back in this league. People always like throwing Jalen Watson at me. Or not Jalen Watson, Jalen Warren, excuse me. I don't think he's big enough to hold up to a full workload, so he's going to be a committee guy regardless. if Bijan Robinson got abducted by one of these space aliens you're talking about, Tyler Algier becomes a top 16 running back in the league.
Definitely.
And that's one of those, especially if I'm playing fantasy, but I'm even talking about just real life NFL potential.
Mm-hmm.
I think Tyler Algier is actually good. And he fits this offense nicely. He's really a tip that he's running the ball because the percentages there are horribly skewed.
Right.
And it doesn't matter.
Weird. I feel like I asked you that during the offseason, and you told me I was crazy when I said, do you think he eats into Bijan Robinson?
Well, he really didn't eat into Bijan. Bijan was still good, too.
Oh, of course he was. And
it's just he's catching a way bigger percentage of work than I would have ever thought.
But it doesn't surprise me at all. Because why would you want to do that? Why would you want to just run the brakes off of Bijan Robinson right out the gate? When you have this guy who has a year under his belt, has been in this system, knows what's – not saying that Bijan doesn't, but experience matters in this league, right? You don't want to come out and just immediately run the wheels off of Bijan Robinson when you can save some of that wear and tear for maybe when you're not going to have Tyler Algier anymore, because he keeps doing this. That's a hell of a trade chip you could have.
It's still running back.
He's still running back. I get it. But it could still be worth something to you down the road. All right, my next two selections, I'm gonna go two guys who faced each other this past week. The first one is a name that might surprise some of you because I have spent a lot of time talking smack about this guy. But this past week, I know it was against the Chicago Bears, but I came out of that game feeling like, okay, maybe this Jordan Love thing's not going to be all that bad. Maybe this won't be absolutely terrible. Again, I get it's the Bears. They have their own problems defensively and whatnot. But I don't know. I don't think I gave Jordan Love enough credit. And
you didn't really have anything to give him credit on. You were going off college tape just like I was.
I get it. And I was going off of the sparse little bit of time that we've seen him already in this league. Just never saw anything that popped in him. But, I saw an efficient quarterback. I saw a quarterback that can wrap his head around the playbook. He can analyze the defense, and he can find the open guy. That's all I really need you to be. And if Romeo Doubs is going to keep being really reliable and you get Christian Watson out there, they could be onto something here. They could win this division. I wrote them off mid-off season.
I did too, and shouldn't have.
But you can.
And that was one of the only ones I walked away and went, okay, there's more there than I thought.
Mm-hmm.
I had already waffled on that in the last few weeks at the end of the preseason. That's not a bad selection for you.
All right, and my third selection is going to be from the other team in that game, the Chicago Bears, and it's Roschon Johnson. Look, I know he didn't have great eye-popping stats this past week. I think he averaged like 2 yards a carry or something. It was not good. But the fact that he was used so much in the passing game, I think he had like 8 targets in the game. I know he had 6 catches, and they didn't go for much, but it's going to be something. Because I expect this is going to be better. I expect that the Chicago Bears are going to look better than they did this past week for the majority of the season. The small chunk plays or the yak plays that we saw in preseason, I think those are going to work. And if you're dumping it off to Roschon at a pretty heavy clip, he's going to be very, very valuable.
I loved him coming in.
Mm-hmm.
I told you that. There were times he looked like a better running back than Bijan Robinson at Texas.
Yes.
The thing that is going to drive me crazy there, he had 29 snaps.
Mm-hmm.
Khalil Herbert had 27.
Mm-hmm.
Deontay Foreman had 21.
Mm-hmm.
Can we move Deontay Foreman away? Just let him go anywhere else.
I feel like
he can be a
eventually
valuable running back for somebody. Just get him out of Chicago.
Mm-hmm. I feel like eventually it will.
It could be.
It'll settle down.
He's the vet guy in the room.
It'll settle down, and they'll do that thing where they play the hot hand.
Roschon and Khalil, to me, are clearly the best 2 running backs in that backfield. So I hate seeing Deontay Foreman get work. Not because he doesn't deserve it, but because I would rather see the other two.
Mm-hmm. Week 1 players or players that did well in week 1, that you believe in more going forward for the rest of the season. We'll take a quick break here on ESPN Asheville. The Sportsocracy will return with the rest of the Daily Draft after this.
At Ingles, whether we're celebrating Friday night rivals, televising college basketball games, bringing the Fan Fest to semi-pro soccer, or taking you out to the ball game at your minor league park, it's all in the bag. Ingles, low prices, love the savings.
The best season of the year is here.
Tailgate season.
Monster Brewing presents this season's MVP.
The Beast Unleashed.
With 4 bold, familiar flavors.
With 0 caffeine and 0 sugar.
Beast Unleashed is your new pregame ritual.
With white haze, mean green, peach perfect, and scary berries, there's a flavor for every fan.
The Beast
Unleashed.
6% alcohol by volume. Unleashed responsibly. Must be 21 or over. Beast Unleashed. Available at your local retailer. Rogue Combat Club, Asheville's home for comprehensive martial arts training, has a goal for our community. One that's stronger, more fit, and unwavers in its support of one another. Rogue Combat Club's instructors have competed at the highest levels and offer classes for everyone from young children to adults in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, Muay Thai, and wrestling. Rogue Combat Club classes can help you boost your self-confidence and self-defense skills while weeding out the egos and intimidation found at other gyms. Join today at roguecombatclub.com.
Our communities are filled with wonderful people who make living here great. At Home Trust Bank, we're proud of that, and that's why we focus on helping homeowners prepare for what's next. Our local mortgage bankers have the experience you need and exceptional personal service you'll appreciate. Home Trust Bank is ready to help make a house your home. When it's time to buy, visit your local Home Trust branch or go to htb.com/mortgage.
Do you need new blinds or shades? Blindster.com offers custom blinds, shades, and shutters at prices less than big box retailers with free shipping and free samples. And right now, save 50% off any order during our Labor Day sale. Blindster.com.
Hey there, it's Craig Melvin from The Today Show. Coming up this week, the Today team takes you inside the first Sunday night game of the NFL season. Plus, Carrie Underwood performs live. Join us every morning on NBC because every day needs today.
Football's here. Switch to My Plan from Verizon and get NFL Sunday Ticket from YouTube and YouTube TV on us with eligible phone purchase and Unlimited Plus. Offer ends soon. Head to Verizon today. $449 value applies to NFL Sunday Ticket season 23-24 only. Additional terms and embargoes apply to NFL Sunday Ticket on YouTube. No refunds.
What do you think is going on?
Something has weaponized the seas against us.
Tuesdays on the CW.
I think we're looking at a new species.
From the producer of Game of Thrones, it's the new series The Swarm, based on the best-selling novel.
There have been other people infected. None of them survived.
What the hell is that?
The tide
We need help. I repeat, we need help now. No!
has turned.
We have a weapon, and we should use it.
The Swarm, Tuesdays and streaming free the next day on the CW.
The Sportsocracy.
Pull up your pants, take off the bra, and be a man.
Back in the Sportsocracy, live in the Ingles studio. We're in the midst of the Daily Draft. Today's Daily Draft, it's Week 1 top performers or surprise performers that you believe in for the rest of the season. First pick was Rashid Shaheed for me, the wide receiver from the New Orleans Saints. Jeremy went Puka Nacua and Tyler Algier at the turn, and then Jordan Love was my second selection, and then Roschon Johnson. Now, Jeremy, it's back to you for your third selection of the Daily Draft. Who are you going with?
Now, I have to preface this with this is not so much that I think he's a great player, as much as I definitively know he's better than who he's going to replace. It's Kyron Williams. Cam Akers is 2 yards tall because he's 6 foot. They're 3 feet in the yard. He averaged 1.2 yards per carry in Week 1, which means he didn't even run to the line and just fall down with the ball in front of his face because he is not good at football and hasn't been for a long time. I loved him coming out. I do not know what happened to him. I have no clue why this shell of the player I remember at Florida State is what's on the field right now. But Kyron Williams is the better running back in that backfield, and I don't think it's all that close.
Okay.
And the more times you see what I saw this past weekend, the more likely it is that you start seeing 2-carry Cam Akers. And there's just nobody else on that team that I even kind of trust. So Kyron Williams is going to get a considerable amount of work.
Didn't they have a rookie? Didn't they draft somebody this year?
There is another one on the team, but I can't remember.
Keep wanting to say Evan Hull, but he's in Indianapolis.
Evan Hull's in Indy. He was.
He didn't play much, though, did he?
He got hurt.
Yeah, I was going to say.
And then Deion Jackson had to.
He was terrible. That guy was terrible.
Yeah. Zach Evans.
Zach Evans, that's the one I'm thinking of. The kid that bounced around to 5 different schools.
Yes. He played for 43. He signed with 43 colleges, played for 3 of them.
Yes.
I couldn't get that out of. I couldn't get it in my brain.
Mm-hmm.
And my final one in this little rotation. Is another one that you have to take what the team is telling you. The Philadelphia Eagles went out and traded for DeAndre Swift. He barely played, and he was awful when he played. Jonathan Welch said that earlier.
Mm-hmm.
Rashad Penny was a healthy scratch. That should tell you where this backfield is. Kenneth Gainwell's the running back for the Philadelphia Eagles that you want. And as long as you've got Jalen Hurts, I get that he didn't do much against New England.
Mm-hmm.
That's New England. There are going to be games where whoever gets the lion's share of those carries is going to eat. And I'm not sure there's not Kenny Gainwell all season long.
Okay.
I think he's the head of that snake. They're going to use DeAndre Swift as the passing game back, and Rashad Penny was insurance.
Mm-hmm.
And we put too much into that because they brought him in, and it must have just not worked. Because to me, Kenny Gainwell and Rashad Penny are a hat on a hat.
I would tend to agree with that, but I would also
but it doesn't
think
appear
the other
that Brian Johnson appears with that.
No.
Agrees with that.
Yeah, maybe. The only thing I can say against that is maybe the thought was that these are 2 injury-prone running backs, and maybe they're already dinged up a little from training camp or something. And I don't know.
There's no report of that.
I know there's no report of that, but it wouldn't be the first time that the team had ever done that, right?
You better be real careful doing that right now.
Oh yeah, I know. I mean,
to me, this screams Kenny Gainwell won this job, and we just didn't want to tell you that.
Maybe so. Hard for me to believe that, but it is what it is. My next selection, I'm going to do it just because I know it's probably going to irritate you. But it's a guy that I told you that the hate was too strong on in the offseason. And it got a little kooky-madooky to me. And
I do get a little kooky-madooky sometimes.
And it's Mike Evans. Look, again, is he going to finish as a top 10 wide receiver this year? No, God, no. But he's going to be just fine with Baker Mayfield throwing the ball to it.
But you say the hate. There was no hate. He was going right about 60. That's where he belonged. That's not hate. That's just me telling you, your quarterback sucks. And he's going to all year long.
Mm-hmm. And what did I tell you is if you won't do it, I will.
He'll have big games. Mm-hmm. I agreed with that.
Mm-hmm.
He's roughly the 30th receiver in the NFL. Not in talent and situation.
Yes. Okay.
Re-harken back to the story I told last hour. Baker Mayfield knew what you were doing, and he threw for 174 yards.
He says he knew. He says he knew.
He didn't. Rashad White did. What purpose did he have to make that up? So he comes in and says, I figured out their hand signals. That means he knows exactly what's happening in the back half. He threw for 174 yards.
Mm-hmm.
It's
not going to be pretty.
I'll pass.
His stat lines are not going to be pretty. All right, final selection here. Week 1, who do I believe in more? Now it gets real thin for me. And I think it's George Pickens. Kenny didn't look good.
That's a weird selection from this week.
But here's my thought.
You walked away from week 1 feeling better about George Pickens than you did when we started?
Well, because they got one less target now. With Deontay Johnson going away for a little while anyway.
I don't know that ever even kind of bothered me.
Really?
No, I mean I said in the preseason the receiver I would want would be George Pickens from a talent standpoint. Okay.
The target share though I think is going to get better.
So all right? So I'm going to ask another question.
Okay.
And there's no wrong answer here. I'm trying to make this make sense in my head. So with Deontay Johnson going down, you feel better about George Pickens than you do about Allen Robinson?
Yes, I do.
I don't, because Allen Robinson was irrelevant to me, and now he's more relevant.
More relevant. Okay.
Because his workload picked up when Deontay went down.
Yes.
George Pickens stays the same to me.
Okay.
That's just to me. I'm not telling you you're wrong. I didn't walk away from that Pittsburgh game feeling better about anything in black and gold.
And there's good reason for that because Kenny wasn't great. And
he was bad.
He was. But you take away another mouth to feed in that offense, and it's gonna make me like George more than I already did.
All right, so that brings it back to me, right?
Yep, that's to you for your final selection.
The one I'm about to pick should not still be here. It's Tajae Spears. I can't tell you what's going to happen with Derrick Henry.
Mm-hmm.
I can tell you that there is something here that don't smell right. You can look me in my face and lie to me all you want to about why you're doing what you're doing. The fact that Tajae Spears didn't just out-snap Derrick Henry. He ran more routes than Derrick Henry. He had more targets than Derrick Henry. He only had 2 or 3 fewer carries. That feels very shifting of the guard.
Mm-hmm.
There's only a handful of reasons you would do that, and I didn't see anything to make me think that Derrick Henry is hurt.
Yep.
Now, this week, this story has gotten quite loud. So you could see a rededication to Derrick Henry. I just don't think it's going to happen. I thought it was weird when they used a 3rd-round pick on a running back. You have way more needs than that. So I can't tell you that he's going to be the bell cow. If something happened to Derrick Henry, where would you put Tajae Spears? And I'm looking at a fantasy perspective here. He's a top running back in the league?
20.
I'd say 24.
Okay.
That makes him a back-end RB2. Yeah, that needs to be rostered.
Mm-hmm.
Because there is a path to that happening, and I don't even want to say it's unlikely at this point. I think there's a 50-50 shot Derrick Henry plays for another team before this year's over. You can tell me I'm losing my mind all you want to. As soon as I saw the stats come, because I watched very little of that game because it just didn't hold my attention.
Mm-hmm.
I saw Chris Olave, dog. Rashid Shaheed, dog. Michael Thomas, dog again. Yep, that's all I needed to know from that. The rest of that's just window dressing. Then I got the report on snap counts and shares and all that, and I thought it was a misprint. Went back and watched it. No, it's not a misprint. Tajae Spears was in the most influential part of those games.
Yep.
Influential part of that game.
Yes.
That tells me a lot. And I think they know they have something. I've seen this before. This kind of reminds me of Tony Pollard. You remember when Tony Pollard started getting carries with the Cowboys and you went, they have a faith in that kid. He's not getting a ton of work. But then it was almost like 2 ships passing in the night. And then by the time you got around to the end of last year, it was abundantly clear that Tony Pollard was the better of the 2 running backs.
Yes. I would say that was abundantly clear the end of the previous year. And then last year they still played with Zeke.
But they were still vested in Zeke.
Yes, they were.
I don't think Tennessee's still vested in Derrick Henry.
Okay.
This is one of those, you got a new GM. This is his guy. He drafted this guy. He didn't draft Derrick Henry. And I think if you got into the Titans building and you gave them truth serum of where do we sit right now, they would know. Best case scenario, because Mike Vrabel's a great coach, 7-10. And so then you start looking at the pieces of what's going to be around here. You have to be careful because DeAndre Hopkins did sign with you. But if you start really bad, which is on the table, you could see those calls start happening again. And I will tell you, they happened around the draft.
Mm-hmm.
Philadelphia and Tennessee talked extensively about Derrick Henry. I'm told they never got close on compensation. But what I saw Sunday is you're trying to tell me something. You're just not telling me what it is you're trying to tell me.
Yep. Do you have a UDFA? Do you want to do a UDFA?
Oh, we can. Go ahead. Mine will be real deep divey.
All right, mine's going to be not so deep divey. It's just going to be more of a confirmation of kind of what I already believed. But after I saw him catch 9 out of 10 balls, Zay Flowers is that dude.
Yeah.
Zay Flowers is going to be the receiver to have in Baltimore.
Hey, you remember that thing I said about Amon-Ra St. Brown of if an NFL team had me on their staff, he would be on your team because I would have been threatening to blow up the building by the end of the third round?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I'm going to say the same thing about Zay Flowers. Yeah, I may miss on a quarterback or two, and my hit rate on offensive linemen is, If I say something about a receiver, you should probably listen. Because my hit rate there, real good. Quentin Johnston, by the way. You remember? Completely irrelevant.
Yes, he was.
Even Mike Williams goes down. Completely irrelevant. That would worry me.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to tank Spencer Cheat here.
Yeah. You're taking guys.
Green Bay youngins. All of them. I'm really impressed with Luke Musgrave. I'm really impressed with Luke Musgrave. Tight end is the hardest position to play as a rookie. And he was really good. Jaden Reed was really good. And that was with no Christian Watson.
Mm-hmm.
I like where Green Bay is headed.
Okay.
I am still not sure Jordan Love's the one that's going to power that ship, but I like what you have done here, that you have just a billion young guys. And you know what? We'll figure it out. You came into this game with your number 2 receiver hurt, still playing, but hurt, and your clear number 1 not even on the field. And you boat raced the division rival with a quarterback making his second career start. It's hard to walk away from that and not be at least reasonably impressed.
Yep.
And I put a lot of the onus on the young targets. And maybe I'm still not giving enough credit to Jordan Love. I just feel like he took what they gave him. I didn't see you take anything, but you have enough targets that a lot was provided.
Yep.
And there's a merit to that. Kirk Cousins has done that for a really long time. That's not shade at Jordan Love. I was impressed with Green Bay.
You're in the Sportsocracy. This is ESPN Asheville. Take a quick break. When we come back, it'll be time for the most important message of the day.
This is your Exergen Temporal Scanner weather forecast on ESPN Asheville.
Changes in the air now as the front's going east, and we may even feel a little bit of a drop in the humidity this afternoon as we're going to get some sunshine to come in. High only near 80 degrees. Tonight, clouds will thicken up a bit. We'll get some patchy fog by morning, 56. Thursday, the cloud fog will give way to sunshine, very comfortable in the afternoon, 77. Low 50s Thursday night, many areas in the 40s. Friday, sunny, 78. From the Weather Channel, I'm Ray Stajic.
Sponsored by Blindster.com.
Do you need new blinds or shades? Blindster.com offers custom blinds, shades, and shutters at prices less than big box retailers with free shipping and free samples. And right now, save 50% off any order during our Labor Day sale. Blindster.com.
The Murder Years is the scripted podcast that takes you on a gruesome trip back to the 80s. For Clarkston High's class of 82, school wasn't just hell, it was murder. Now, 40 years later, the former students revisit their past for answers.
I mean, it was like how many more of us were going to die? And who would be next?
Listen to The Murder Years on the iHeartRadio app or wherever you get your podcasts.
What do you think is going on?
Something has weaponized the seas against us.
Tuesdays on the CW.
I think we're looking at a new species.
From the producer of Game of Thrones, it's the new series The Swarm, based on the best-selling novel.
There have been other people infected. None of them survived.
What the hell is that?
The tide
We need help. I repeat, we need help now. No!
has turned.
We have a weapon, and we should use it.
The Swarm, Tuesdays and streaming free the next day on the CW.
Hey there, it's Craig Melvin from The Today Show. Coming up this week, the Today team takes you inside the first Sunday night game of the NFL season. Plus, Carrie Underwood performs live. Join us every morning on NBC because every day needs today.
Are you Beer City's best fantasy football player? Your chance to prove it is back. The Sportsocracy's Battle for the Belt is back for year 2 with 2 ways to win. Our standard contest and the new Eliminator Challenge for the most hardcore of football fans. Play fantasy football with us every week of the NFL season and compete for a cause with proceeds benefiting Eblen Charities St. Nicholas Project. Register today at thesportsocracy.com and take your shot at the title of Beer City's fantasy football champion.
If cleanliness is next to godliness, look around the car right now. Is that very godly? Look, life comes at you fast, but so does WNC Auto Detailing. They have the tools to make your interior look like it's coming off the showroom floor. You don't believe me? Check them out on Instagram. All that filth and years of stains disappear. WNC Auto Detailing does full interior and exterior details with paint correction, and they do wax and ceramic coatings. Call WNC Auto Detailing at 455-3700. Premium care with a Southern hospitality touch.
At Ingles, we're proud to sponsor area athletics at all levels. Whether we're building new fields for T-ball, celebrating Friday night rivals, televising college basketball games, bringing the Fan Fest to semi-pro soccer, or taking you out to the ball game at your minor league park. We're here for the fans. No one gets the dedication to the home team like you guys. And we've got all the sports you can handle. It's all in the bag. Ingles. Low prices. Love the savings.
We're live in the Ingles studio. It's time for the most important message of the day here in the Sportsocracy, which is...
Don't do crimes!
And let's go to California, where crimes are happening. Buena Park police arrested a woman who was, well, she was stealing from the Target store. But not only did she steal from the Target store, she was after baby formula. If you've ever had to feed a baby on formula, you know how expensive that stuff is.
Very.
And I can't imagine. I mean, my kids were on formula 11 years ago. I can't imagine what Biden inflation has done to the price of Similac these days. This woman goes into the Target. She's trying to steal stuff. Well, if you don't want security following you around, what do you do with the video cameras? You create a diversion, right? Well, she decided she was just going to set fire to the store. This woman...
That's a bold strategy.
She just went full-on homeless campfire in the middle of the store, sets a whole bunch of stuff on fire, and by the time she's trying to head out the door with all of her baby formula, flames are reaching to the ceiling in this Target. They did catch up with her. She did not get away with it. It did not work. A store employee with a fire extinguisher and the building sprinkler system were able to be enough to put out the blaze. No injuries were reported, thank the Lord. The merchandise in the store itself were damaged by the flames, smoke, and water. The estimated damage is at $1 million.
Well, look, Target's expensive.
Yikes!
In a Walmart in the same aisle, $84. That's how much damage would have been done.
$1 million in retail goods. It's another $500,000 for the damage that was done to the store itself.
That's some high end construction.
That's some expensive baby formula too.
Yes,
jeez.
This is without a doubt the oldest crime story I've ever told, because my crime happened on November 22nd, 1963.
Oh, yeah.
Do you happen to know what that day was?
Yeah, the Kennedy assassination.
There you go. Former Secret Service agent Paul Landis, he was on the scene that day. He was in the Kennedy what's the word? Motorcade. There we go. That's not a word you use very often in common lexicon, so it wasn't coming to my brain.
I will say this, as a conspiracy theorist, you need to learn about your conspiracy theories.
I do. Yeah, well, I mean, here's the thing. This conspiracy theory, it predates me by a lot.
It's the original, though.
My father was 7 years old when this happened, so sorry I didn't get on board with lone gunmen and things like that.
Right.
However, there has always been something about the Kennedy assassination that bothered conspiracy theorists. if it was a lone gunman, there was only one bullet, how exactly did Governor John Connally get hit as well?
Yes.
That was always explained away because they found the bullet on the stretcher after he was wheeled off.
The magic bullet.
Well, now Mr. Landis is getting closer to the end of his life, and he's second-guessing himself, and he just disclosed, yeah, they didn't find that bullet on a stretcher. That was in the limo seat, which completely debunks the idea that it could have hit Kennedy and Connally and landed there. It's not physically possible. Unless it hit Connally and then fell out of his back somehow. Conspiracy theorists everywhere are losing their minds.
A pristine bullet. I mean, a bullet would not be pristine after it hits anybody once, much less hitting two guys 5 times.
Oh, no, this is not even the condition of the bullet. It couldn't physically have landed there. If his claim is true and he found that in the seat, we now have unequivocal proof that there was more than one bullet. Because, see, here's the thing about bang-bangs. Bang-bangs go where you tell bang-bangs to go. So they can't start doing loop-de-loops and going full NASCAR and turning left sometimes.
Right.
They go where they are fired. And just me being me, as somebody that I do visit conspiracy theory websites from time to time, I knew something was up when the little notification thing that says how many messages have been posted since the last time you were here was 10,000 plus. Uh-oh, that's never good. That means somebody's gone full kooky madookie. And it just so happens it's the one that I don't care about.
Nice.
Can I ask why you know all these people are dead, right? Like, if somebody else did this, they're already not on this world. So why does anybody care?
Yeah, I don't know the answer to that.
We have much more pressing problems. The birds are flying around every day. Let's get our best people on that.
Right.
That's a pressing problem.
It's just that all of the deniers, all of the conspiracy theorists, like, we all know what the deal is. We know that wasn't a one-man job.
That's one that I genuinely don't have a belief on.
Yeah.
The whole story was always weird to me and didn't add up, and I went, yeah, it's probably something the government's not telling you the truth about.
How could the government be lying to us?
They do it
Think
every
about
single
what
day.
you just said.
Yeah, they do it every single day. And now it's because I think half the people in high office probably forgot. They're not actually not lying about all the things.
It is the Sportsocracy. This is ESPN Asheville. Most important message of the day.
Don't do crimes.
That's right. I'm tired of dealing with the NCAA. I'm just done.
Well, there's a report out that you might not have to that much longer.
Well, let's hope so. But until whatever is comes with the NCAA, we got to put up with them for now. And yesterday they released a statement on the Tez Walker situation. They have denied the appeal from UNC and Tez Walker to have him be eligible as a 2-time transfer. His eligibility has been limited, and he will not be eligible for this year. And then remember, Mac Brown comes out with his strong statement saying that the NCAA is just basically feckless, and they are an organization that he no longer believes can govern the sport anymore. And then the NCAA releases a statement yesterday that just rambles. I mean, first off, I get, I called it earlier today on 570, playing the victim card, because it's exactly what they did. In the first paragraph of their statement yesterday, talking about how, we've had death threats against our committee members, and we gotta investigate. This is hard on us too. That's how that rang to me. Was, okay, so y'all are mad and y'all are taking up for Tez, but we're victims in this scenario as well. And then they went on to blast Mac Brown, which of course they would. Anybody calls in to question your existence, you're gonna snap back at that a little bit. Then they started going down the path of trying to justify the limit on transfers and how it can affect the target date for transfers to graduate on time and all of this. And any other scenario, I would understand that argument. But Tez Walker is a Dean's List athlete. He's not having troubles in his classes, okay? And no, this is not UNC Dean's List for everybody who wants to be a smartass about the AFAM stuff. This was
You're
from
the
his
only
previous
one that
school.
still talks about that.
No, I'm not. You're not paying attention if you think that.
I haven't heard anybody but you bring that up in a solid 3 years.
Like I said, you ain't paying attention, or you're not hanging out with enough NC State or Duke fans.
I hang out with the gamblers. You know what we care about? You gonna cover a spread anytime soon? Because it's swoofed.
The whole report the whole statement yesterday just rubbed me the wrong way, and it's the NCAA continuing to grasp at straws because they know what they have has a shelf life. Because I don't see how this continues. I don't see how you can have all of these programs making all of this money and the NCAA doing stupid stuff like this, and then at some point they don't all go, we could do this better than they do. Let's just do this ourselves. So what happens if the NCAA does lose its member schools?
Well, where this is coming from is a report that's from, Sports Business Insider, that they basically did a Gallup poll for all intents and purposes.
Sports Business Journal.
That asked how things are going to change in the NFL in the next handful of years, and there were a lot of expansion things and basic tenets. Then there was the Hail Mary section, where apparently a half a dozen of their insiders that are close to the NFL and know the inner workings of the NFL said, don't be shocked if the NFL tries to boot the NCAA out of here at some point and run its own platform for the highest of high-level schools.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I'm going to say I don't in any way envision that because I don't have to. The NFL already has the perfect filter system for itself in NCAA football.
That it doesn't have to manage.
You're giving me players that you're promoting. It's costing me $0, and they're falling right in my lap. However, do I think there is a great chance that the high-end super boosters here, this has been rattling around in my brain since SMU joined the ACC, and they took a 0% share, and their boosters said, we just cut a check for $200 million. Like it was nothing. You're telling me that boosters at Carolina aren't thinking that same thing right now with this Tez Walker debacle?
Mm-hmm.
You're telling me Florida State's boosters aren't looking around right now going, we want out of this, and we have the lawyers to do it and the funding to do it. And Clemson and Miami and on and on and on and on. The thing I can't wrap my brain around, what incentive does the Big Ten or the SEC have to do that? They're the power brokers.
Mm-hmm.
At the end of the day, that's 70% of the power in college football is in those two conferences. They have no incentive to get away from the NCAA. It's working for them. When you start having to really think about this, when it starts affecting them somehow. Mm-hmm. And I don't know exactly how that's going to happen.
Well,
they're so insulated at this point. Basically, within the next 5 years, you're generating $100 million per school per year. That's the projection.
Mm-hmm.
The ratings, I don't know if you've seen the ratings from this past weekend. Deion Sanders in Colorado are doing ratings numbers that I never thought college football would do.
I did. Wasn't it the highest rated game ever on Fox for a college game?
Yes. Which is insanity. By the way, Jets-Bills, highest rated Monday Night Football game in the history of ESPN.
22.6 million.
That's weird. Cord cutting. It's the NBA. Oh, it's cord cutters. Weird. College football and the NFL break records every single week.
Right.
Oh, I guess we just have an older constituency that still has cable.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I mean, the NCAA would be dumb to come in and cut their own nose off to spite their face. My mom used to like to say that all the time. I don't know, by bringing down the big dogs, but I could see them going down that path at some point. Things get so lopsided that they start throwing out new rules, limiting more transfers and the player movement thing and all of that. Maybe at some point that gets to be too much. Maybe they try some draconian-type measures that throw things back to the way they were in the early 90s. And then the SEC and the Big Ten, who have been ruling the roost, then they got a problem.
Well, I mean, you have people like Lane Kiffin that basically aren't even they're recruiting high school players at 25% of the clip that they used to.
Mm-hmm.
And the NCAA now has a problem. That's why I wanted to mention this. Because the NCAA feels to me like they have figured out they have a problem, and now they're trying to backdate the solution. That's how you break yourself up.
Yep.
Pat Mack said this many years ago, that the NCAA's biggest teams at some point could break off and form their own thing.
Mm-hmm.
I'm getting to a point where I don't see how that doesn't happen eventually. That could be 10, 15 years from now. I have no idea.
Right.
But right now, you have to look at all of the movement that's happened with the Big Ten, with the SEC, now into the ACC and the Big 12. The Pac-12 died an unceremonious death. I don't care how many court battles you win. I don't care that you get to use the Pac-12 name. I don't care about any of that. Oregon State and Washington State have been left on the wire to die. And everybody else is looking around going, are we the next one?
Mm-hmm.
Oregon State's in the top 20 right now. Doesn't matter. Washington State's good right now. Doesn't matter. You know why? Because they don't have any money. They have nothing backing them up. And if you look at the four biggest, the big four that are still left, half of their schools have that same problem. The Rutgers of the world and a handful of others. Maryland's got one really high-end super booster that owns Under Armour.
Mm-hmm.
There ain't a whole lot behind them other than that.
Right.
And you go down this list and go, man, there's a big separation here between Central Florida and Florida State.
Yep.
They're both in the same state. So Georgia Tech and Georgia.
One of the biggest counterpoints to the NCAA, or to the big schools breaking off and doing their own thing in football away from the NCAA, has one of the safety nets for people on the other side of this saying it's not going to happen has been, well, I mean, they crown all the champions. Do you think people actually care? And this is not directed at you, Jeremy, but do you think people actually care who the NCAA college football champion is?
No, they care who win the playoff.
I was going to say, especially when the SEC and the Big Ten and the ACC, say it's just those three. Let's throw the Big 12 in there as well. They all decide they're going to leave. We don't care who your NCAA champion's going to be.
No, when you're trotting out Boise State and
care,
San Diego State, I could care less.
We will care as much about that as we care about the FCS national championship now.
That's exactly, and
we will not care.
I'm so glad you said that, because that was going to be my final point on this. Here's how I just want to make a sweeping proclamation. It could take the rest of my natural life before this happens. But you mark my words, it's going to happen. We have an FCS right now.
Mm-hmm.
We have an FBS.
Mm-hmm.
There's an FAS coming. And I don't know if that's what it's going to be called, but there is a huge, just chasm in terms of financial ability. Adam Black in our YouTube comment said the NFL could make bank from taking this over. They're already making bank. And this is a copious amount of headache. But if you get rid of the headache, then that makes sense. And it tells me something that these power brokers within the NFL are even talking about this. I don't even know that these people talk to each other. It's entirely possible that they're pulling people from opposite ends of the buildings that are going, the NFL's keeping tabs on college football because they know it's printing money. But the problem is it's printing money at Ohio State and Georgia and Florida State and schools like that. And then you have these others that we're almost having to pull along, which is what the Pac-12 was. Well, we've dispatched of that. This has happened before your eyes in the last handful of years. And it's going to keep happening. If capitalism and history have taught me anything, as long as there are people with desires and aspirations of their own that have exponentially more money than other people, they will absolutely run them over to get what they want. And the Ohio States and the Michigans, you've already got Michigan real good and riled up. And you're doing this about one school per year, and they're not forgetting about it. So you look at Carolina and go, Carolina's not a big fish. They're a much bigger fish than you think they are. They're one of the only schools that take the lion's share of their money from basketball and still have a seat at the big boy table. And you have alienated them over one player. And you're going to keep doing it because there's no way to back legislate things. Mm-hmm. You let this turn into the Wild Wild West. And now you have a problem on your hands because you're the governing body and nobody cares what you have to say. And when that happens, it turns into lawlessness. And when lawlessness takes over, it benefits who? The bottom tier. Because now I can burgle, I can vandal, I can do anything I want to, and there's no repercussion for me. What happens when that happens? The money takes over. When you start burning me because you're protecting everybody. Mm-hmm. That's how capitalism works. And the NCAA is a perfect example of it. I know I sound like a kooky Madookie right now, but 20 years are going to pass, and you're going to remember, oh, yeah, that mulleted idiot said this was coming. When there's another division in college football.
You're in the Sportsocracy. This is ESPN Asheville. We're going to leave it there for today. Got to pay some bills here, and then it'll be time for the top of the hour, and then the Adam Gold Show coming up after us. We'll be back with you tomorrow, right back here in the Ingalls studio on ESPN Asheville at noon. Everybody have a great evening, and we will see you here tomorrow.
The season we've all been waiting for is here. No, not that one. The season of the Big Orange Tent is underway in Western North Carolina. The area's largest selection of Halloween costumes, decorations, and accessories is at the Big Orange Tent at the Asheville Mall. Halloween Express is your one-stop shop for adult and child costumes, superheroes, horror icons, inflatable suits. You can find it all under the Big Orange Tent at the Asheville Mall. 10 to 8 Monday through Saturday, 12 to 6 on Sundays.
I believe real estate isn't about properties. It's about people. I'm Clarissa Hyatt-Zach with eXp Realty, serving all of Western North Carolina. Navigating the home buying and selling journey can feel overwhelming at times, and that's why having an agent who cares about you and your needs is key. I'm a native of Western North Carolina, and I close over a home a week. I'm an expert in the market, pricing my sellers correctly to net you the most money, and working as a skilled negotiator for my buyers. Please give me a call today at 828-774-6343 to set up a complimentary market analysis.
Tired of getting dinged by monthly fees on your checking account? You need Simple Checking from Home Trust Bank. With Simple Checking, you get all the essential checking services for free, including 100% online access and a free Visa debit card. It's everything you need from a checking account, but no hoops, no surprises, no monthly fees. Stop by today or call 800-627-1632. Simple Checking at Home Trust. Ready for what's next. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Attention, it's time for the morning announcements. Make sure your parents are aware of the Ingalls Tools for Schools program and ask them to link their Ingalls Advantage card to our school. Remember, you have to do it each year. Now please stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
The 15th Rock the Quarry Trail Challenge 5K and Kids Fun Run will take place on Saturday, September the 16th. This year's race helps to celebrate the Black Mountain Home for Children's 100-year anniversary. The 5K course will run through the beautiful campus of the Children's Home, and there's cash prizes on hand as well. Proceeds benefit the Black Mountain Home for Children and the Asheville Museum of Science. For more information and to get signed up, go to raceroster.com and search Rock the Quarry Trail Challenge. Proudly sponsored by iHeartMedia, Asheville.
This is Anish Shroff. Join me, Jake Delhomme, Luke Kuechly, and Sharon Thorsland Monday night as the Panthers host the New Orleans Saints. It's Carolina's home opener. It's Bryce Young's first game in front of the home crowd. Pre-game coverage at 6, kick at 7:15 on the Carolina Panthers radio network.
Panther football live all season long on News Radio 570 WWNC.
This is your Exergen Temporal Scanner weather forecast on ESPN Asheville.
Changes in the air now as the front's going east, and we may even feel a little bit of a drop in the humidity this afternoon as we're going to get some sunshine to come in. High only near 80 degrees. Tonight, clouds will thicken up a bit. We'll get some patchy fog by morning, 56. Thursday, the cloud fog will give way to sunshine, very comfortable in the afternoon, 77. Low 50s Thursday night, many areas in the 40s. Friday, sunny, 78. From the Weather Channel, I'm Ray Stajic.
All across the Tar Heel State, this is Carolina football.
Stepping through a tackle and stepping to the end zone. It is pouring points in Chapel Hill. Holy cow, Carolina's going to win!
The Heels clash with the Minnesota Golden Gophers. Pre-game coverage starts at 2:30, kickoff at 3:30, right here on your home for Carolina football.
Asheville's home for the Tar Heels is ESPN Asheville.
Not completing high school is more of a social thing than it was an academic thing. Even though all these years have passed, I still had that longing to have my diploma.
At age 30, Carissa finished her high school diploma.
If you're even considering getting your high school diploma, you can do it.
No one gets a diploma alone. If you're thinking of finishing your high school diploma, you have help. Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org. That's finishyourdiploma.org. Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.
The iHeartRadio Asheville Pro Football Pick'em Challenge is back. Just log on to WWNC.com and go to contest, and you can sign in to make your picks. Each weekly winner wins a $50 gift card to Asheville Pizza and Brewing. Make your picks now. The Sportsocracy.
Let's open up the whole can and kick ass and kill them all. Let the paramedics sort them out.
From the Ingalls Studios, this is ESPN Asheville, WPEK, W225CJ Fairview, WMXF Waynesville, and iHeart.
Springs. This is the Adam Gold Show.
Well, I would have had a meeting this morning and basically told everybody in the organization that, we're going to do everything in our power as an organization to help Zach Wilson become a really good player. We're going to redefine the offense around Zach Wilson so that he is a good player. And I don't want to hear anybody talking about how sad they are today. I think it's time to move forward. The NFL is not a league that spends a lot of time in yesterday. Much like the scene in Apollo 13 where those scientists came into that room and they dumped all that stuff on that conference table and said, we got to make this into that to get those guys home. That's what the Jets have to do.
Good afternoon, everybody. It's the Adam Gold Show. I am Adam Gold. That, I point, even though she's off camera, Victoria's here.
Yes.
It's 2 days in a row.
I know, right?
It's outstanding. What a streak.
I know. No more outdoor hoop fests. So, in Virginia. I'm so mad about that. I'm going to be mad.
Oh, you were
forever.
in Virginia. I don't know why I thought you were in the mountains of North Carolina.
Well, because they're
the Blue Ridge bleeds over.
The name of it. I don't understand why you call it the Blue Ridge Rock Festival when it should be the crap fest now. But, yeah. And the owner, person who runs everything, his last name's Sly, and it just feels sleazy.
Really? Somebody named, like Joey Sly?
So it's like Fry Fest, but Sly Fest.
Ah, the Slyer Festival.
Exactly.
Or just Liar Festival.
It was
something like that.
Too.
All right, well, welcome
but I'm
back.
Here.
Good. 2 days in a row. We're very excited. We are very excited. We have, by the way, the voice you heard in the open was that of Michael Lombardi, former NFL front office executive, player personnel guy. We were just reacting. It was just stroke of luck that Michael was on yesterday to promote a book. But we talked a lot about what the Jets are going to do or could do, should do with regards to quarterback now that Aaron Rodgers is officially broken.
Yes.
So, Rodgers out for the year and all that, and Zach Wilson, it's not really that good. And you'll hear later on from Mina Kimes, not really that good is putting it mildly. Anyway, what should they do? So, my friend Mike DeCourcy of the Sporting News, who comes on the show often.
Yes.
And I love Mike dearly, one of my absolute favorite humans. He wrote that the Jets should sign Tom Brady. And I laughed. I said, gosh, no. It's like, what? Why?
No.
Because I think he's under the impression I'm still a Jets fan. But
to the point of why I am not a Jets fan is that, and I'm not trying to pretend that I am smarter than anybody here. This is not the point. I've always been a more rational fan. And I cannot, which is maybe why I'm no longer a Jets fan.
Yeah.
It's because I don't believe you can be rational and be a Jets fan at the same time. I don't think that's possible. Tom Brady's never playing for the Jets. Mm-mm. What is wrong with you people?
No.
He's never... somebody like that is never playing for the Jets. What's his name, the defensive back, Darrelle Revis. If Darrelle Revis didn't leave the Jets on poor terms, he would have never played for the Patriots.
Mm-mm.
But at that point, it was like, screw those guys. I'm going to go here and win a Super Bowl. No, come on.
No.
Tom Brady's not playing for the Jets. But as a practical matter, I indulge in this. So why wouldn't he? One, he's immobile.
Right.
We saw the Jets' offensive line, which, contributed to the incident that injured Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, well, yesterday he was called a traffic cone, a lazy.
Well, yes. Well, I was just interpreting what Stephen A. Smith was saying about Tom Brady. Yeah. So anyway, with all, not to mention, nobody's talking about this. He's an investor in the Las Vegas Raiders, so he would have to sell his investment in them. Not to mention file on retirement papers because he is officially retired in the NFL. So there are a myriad of reasons why he's not going to be the quarterback of the Jets. But I indulged, and I put that in today's poll question.
Nice.
And it is, who should the Jets sign to join Zach Wilson in their quarterback room? And we have, nearly 200 votes already. I'm not going to give you the totals, but